Thank everybody for being, everybody that couldn't be here. I really appreciate everyone being here on Zoom because this is something you don't want to miss. Everybody here, it feels great to be back and have this interaction that we have today. So let's get started, everybody. So the title of the presentation, Leveraging Your Listings for Future Success. If we are realtors, we need listings to be able to stay in business, okay? Getting listings is not easy. Real estate is probably one of the most competitive contact sports out there. So when you are fortunate, blessed enough, when you've earned a listing, you have to make it work for you. You cannot miss the opportunity. And listing, when we leave here today, remember, a listing does two things. On one hand, it's going to deliver you a paycheck if the deal closes, whether it be a rental or a property for sale. But a listing, if you just use it as a vehicle for a paycheck, you are missing 80% of the back-end benefit that you have from getting a listing. If you just want to work with buyers your whole career, you can do that. If you just want to work with renters, throughout your entire career, you can do that as well. But if you really want to grow your business on all sides, you need to have listings. So what we're going to look to today in terms of, pulling out the power that comes in it, and every listing that we have, the opportunity that's there, we're going to look to create a higher standard for our own marketing. And you're going to hear me say this a lot today, but it's going to be all about leveling up for everybody. We all started somewhere. Some of us have been in the business longer, some of us shorter. So you have a standard of where you are, and that's fine. If you're here, you don't have to try to compete up here, but every day, every listing, you want to try to up that level. With every new opportunity on a listing, you need to go up one. Okay, so don't worry about the next guy, worry about where you are, and then let's focus on that leveling up principle. Number two, we're going to grow our business exponentially from this. You'll see with that as we get through this. And then of course, we're going to attract buyers and sellers from our listings. Buyers and sellers are what we need to make money, to enjoy our lives, to enjoy our career, to feel successful. So we're going to tap that power out of the listings that we get. So again, today is going to be really about shifting our mindset with our listings. It's not going to be about getting the listing, getting the deal closed, getting our commission check. That's fine. That's the old way. That's when we leave here today, that mindset's gone. We're going to try to avoid, after today's, a scenario just like this here. So congratulations, you sold a home, you sold your listing, the condo, the house, whatever it was, the rental, and you got your commission check. And because you're with London Foster, you probably got it before you even knew it. Like this, you're like, it's closed and your check was already there. You're like, wow. So the money's in the bank, you spent it already. So congratulations, mission accomplished, right? We're good, right? Wrong. Okay, we wasted an opportunity there with that listing if we're not going to do some of the things that I'm going to show you today. Okay, if you're not utilizing your listings to grow your business, you're going to have a very tough time in real estate. This, again, as I said before, it's one of the most difficult industries to be in. It's one of the most competitive. It is fierce. We are all smiling in front of each other here today, but when we're out on the field, it's gloves off. It's the real deal. So you absolutely can't forget that, and you have to take every opportunity you have. Hold on a second. Yeah, sorry. Am I too far forward now, or no? Sorry. All right. Okay. Whoop. Watch your foot. Sorry. Okay. All right. So guys, again, we don't want to waste these opportunities. As the more that this presentation goes on, you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. So if it's a little bit confusing right now, don't worry about it. So again, every listing gives you a ton of opportunities I'm going to show you today to really grow your business, to allow you to be more successful. So today, when we leave here today, this is the mindset I want all of you to have. I don't care if it's a $1,500 rental or if it's a $2 million, waterfront home. Every single listing you have or will get is going to be an investment in your future, in this business. When you invest in this business, you're investing in yourself, you're investing in your future. That's the mindset. Every listing, we're not investing to get the listing sold. We're investing to get that commission check that comes out of it. We are investing in our business with every single listing. So I got a question for everybody here, because this is sort of, I want to get everybody's take. Maybe not everybody, but a few. So anybody here, why are listings important? And they're important for a lot of different reasons, but anybody want to give me their take on why? Go ahead. Okay. Anybody else? Why are listings important for us realtors?
Helps you to scale.
Okay, helps you to scale. Helps you buyers, yeah. Anybody else? Could, or it could be, right? You have the opportunity of maybe getting both sides. Okay, all good points. And again, there's many, oh, you get paid too. And with London Foster, you get paid very quickly, exactly. So all very valid reasons of why they are appointment. But I bet maybe you've never thought of this reason before. Listings are the only tangible evidence that can prove or disprove your marketing ability. Okay, when you work with a buyer, you close a deal, when it's done, you get your check goes into your bank account, transaction done, no track record. Listings are the only real historical evidence of what you do, how you do it. Do you do it well? Do you do it bad? Does it give you that sort of evolution of where you started, where you're at? It's the only tangible piece that we have as realtors to show people that we are good. It's the only way that we can actually demonstrate our value. So sometimes when people think, especially in this market right now, properties are going under contract in 2 days. So wouldn't it be sort of safe to say, you could say, well, I'm just gonna do a couple quick pictures. I know I'm gonna have 20 offers. I know it's gonna go under contract. You know what, we don't need professional pictures. I'm just gonna, let me put it up and let me get it sold because the market's hot. You can do that and you will get your commission check. But again, you're gonna be like that guy who's, you know, sitting there all sad looking in a year or two from now because you missed the opportunity to sort of develop that biography. So what I was saying too, when I was really trying to think of how to articulate this in terms of this being so important, of being able to prove your value and prove your ability to be a good marketer, which is really what we get paid for. You know, we're not just door openers. If we're not able to make a property look better or be worth more, then someone else who can do it better is going to get the listing. And it means that we're going to be out of business at one point or another. But I was trying to sort of visualize, I guess you will, like, you know, the right way to describe this. And what I came up with was that listings are basically, every listing you have sort of becomes a page of your real estate biography, which is sort of your career, the book of you in real estate. Every listing that you touch, whether you did one good, whether you did one bad, that's on record. So think of it maybe like your credit report or like your permanent record. Everything you do good, if someone wants to see it, they can go back and they can see it. Everything you do bad, every corner you cut, it's all on record. So with that being said, and with real estate being so competitive for what it is, and us always being able to have to demonstrate to sellers our value, that's the only real thing that separates me from you, from anybody else, of getting that listing. What can I do better for you as a seller to make you want to work with me? All of your listings, so go ahead. How many people right now have at least one active listing or at least just closed one? So, okay, cool. Okay. How many have had one in the last 2-3 months? I'm sure everybody here. And if you haven't had a listing yet, then that's good because when you get one, you need to put a lot of these principles into place. You're not going to waste an opportunity. You're not going to cut that corner like you might have thought. Hopefully today will be enough shift in your mindset that you won't miss that opportunity. But all of the listings that you have right now have untapped potential. Today, we're going to tap into a few key things that are going to attract. So there's 5 powerful benefits that we're going to go for. Number 1, attracting more buyers. Somebody out here said that before. That's huge right now. Although in the market we're in right now, buyers, if you want to write 10 contracts and you know, go through hell, but either way, you know, you would rather have more buyers because what's the alternative? You can go on Zillow and you can pay $3,000 a month, or you can invest in your own listings, which is going to give you residual benefits till the end of it's going to go in that biography of you, or you can just give Zillow your money and then have to be on call and still be running around getting disappointed 24/7. So number 1, we're going to attract more buyers. We're going to attract more sellers, which this is where it's at right now. As we all know, you get a listing today, if it's anywhere halfway decent, it's a home run. The only question is going to be, how many offers are there going to be? How many people are going to call you begging for it? And then how many, you know, rejection letters? Hey, we accepted someone else's offer. You know, I mean, so attract more sellers. Number 3, establish yourself as an authority. I think you mentioned that before. This is key. This is the key to being in this business long term. This is the key to having your phone ring once you put in the work and people seeking you out. This piece right here, once you've achieved establishing yourself as an authority, your life is a real changes, okay? Pre being an authority, when you go and you meet with the seller, first thing they say, is your commission negotiable? Oh, can you do? It's all about pushing you down, taking money away, having you give away. Once you're able to establish yourself as an authority, really the only discussion is do you want to work with me or not? What's my commission? 6%, 3 and 3. Any questions? I'm out, you know, but when you establish yourself as an authority, life gets very, very good for you as a realtor. And it doesn't happen overnight, and you have to put the work in now to get there. There's no way to skip a step and be here. It comes with putting in the work. Today, I'm going to give you some of the building blocks that you can do with every single listing you have, that with time, you can be here. Number 4, create more leverage when negotiating with other agents. So you'll see, I'll get to this as we go through it as well, but you probably all have seen it when you go into the MLS. You see, you're working with a buyer, you know it's a place that's good for one of your buyers, and the listing just looks super crappy. The copy is written all bad, the pictures are bad, and the pricing kind of doesn't even make sense. And you kind of know already, you're the professional, you're like, I have the leverage here. This listing agent, either they don't care or the seller doesn't care, because if the seller cared, he would not let his agent, you know, put this into the MLS like that. So it's not a sign, okay? You're sending signs out to first to the buyers, to everybody. When you put bad listings out there that you don't care, and it also shows that your sellers don't care, okay? So by creating more leverage with other agents, when you're in the middle of negotiation, you're setting the bar right from day one. They know already, at least I'm not a fool. Maybe they're better negotiators than me, but they know I'm not a sucker. They know I'm not a dummy, and they know that my seller's not stupid either. So it kind of helps level the playing field a little bit in terms of giving you a little bit more power of just starting from a good foot, which is huge. And especially if your goal is to get your seller top dollar, then you need leverage, okay? The only way to get those buyers to come up is to have some sort of authority and have some ability to negotiate and work that leverage. And then number 5 is what I call aiming for the 2-for-1. That's a little mental thing that I sort of use for myself to kind of, when things get difficult and when I'm, you know, when I'm putting in all this extra effort and you say to yourself, no one else is doing this, why am I doing this? Which I'll explain as a little bit farther into the presentation. You'll understand. I want you guys to remember too, when you're putting in this work, think of the 2-for-1. When you have this in the back of your mind, it's going to change the way that you handle the entire process of dealing with your seller and dealing with the listing. So is everybody ready now to kind of get into some of these things that we're going to go into? Okay, cool. Let's go. Okay, so I got a question for everybody here and everybody in Zoom land. This will be a good one. So how many in here has had a listing, and when you closed, you purchased a closing gift for your seller? Great, show of hands. Pretty much everybody who didn't, shame. No. So for the most part, everybody has. I'm sure in Zoom land, how many people in Zoom land? Anybody, any hands up of agents that recently closed the sale with the seller and bought their seller a closing gift when they closed? I'm sure, if not, at least 50-50, whatever. I'm gonna make an assumption. Only one? Oh, she said yes? Okay. Okay, let's assume that there's more, because there probably are. Okay, question number 2. How many of you recently have had a listing and decided for whatever reason, and no judgment here, did not use professional photography? And I'm also guilty. I'm gonna go in the corner. How many hands on Zoom for that one? I bet if there was only one before, I better see a lot on that one. All right, that's fine. Fair enough. We all make our reasons. It's fine. And sometimes there are more valid reasons than others. But here's my last question then to everybody who raised their hand or didn't raise their hand. Why are some agents okay with spending up to $150 on a closing gift for their seller and not on professional marketing? Okay, we're thinking, now we're getting into the why here. And then what I want everyone to understand in terms of building your business, closing gifts do not grow your brand or attract new listings. They do not do that. So I'm not saying don't get your seller a closing gift. If you're lucky enough to have a great seller and you want to do it, do it. But if it came down to having to choose from spending $150 on a gift or spending on professional marketing, trust me, your seller would rather you invest in the marketing for their property than get them their gift. If worst case scenario, get them a card, The what?
More eyes are going to look at it. You know, thousands of people can look at your picture, one person looking at that.
But everybody feels this obligation that afterwards they got to, you know, because they owe something to the seller. But what you did, if you didn't do professional marketing and you bought you basically took money from him by sort of being lazy and sort of copping out. But what also happens too, it probably didn't help you attract top dollar. It probably didn't help you gain leverage when you were negotiating during that deal. And it's definitely not getting you any new listings. And no buyers are going to want to work with you really, because they're going to think your properties are kind of. So today we're going to talk about some things that are going to business. So we just talked about what doesn't. We know closing gifts. I'm not saying don't do it. If you do it, do it. I do it as well. I do it in conjunction with budgeting and actually spending on the marketing budget for each listing. So professional photography. Everybody know, like, this isn't anything new. I'm not trying to, you know, come like this is anything enlightening here, but I'm going to get into some whys about why we use this now. So professional photography. Number one, a few, and when I say a few, I mean few professional photographs are better than 20, 30, 40 non-professional photographs, period. If you gave me the option on any of my listings to go with 5 professional pictures or 20, I don't care if it's a 4,000 square foot water, I will take the 5 professional photographs. I will leave something for them when they come to do the showing. But so even if your mindset is, well, you know, it's not a big property, do the smallest package they have available. Do a 10 photo package, a 12 photo package, invest in that. It's not expensive. Fortunately, real estate photography has gotten much more affordable. So like the excuse now is pretty much like a thing of the past. So a few professional pictures all day long. Number 2, they can be utilized forever in digital and print marketing as well as your social media. What this allows you to do now, what are you investing in now when you do these professional pictures? Are you investing even really listing? Are you investing in the seller's home? No, you're investing in content. You just paid money for content, okay? Content right now for real estate is probably the most valuable commodity you can find anywhere. Just ask Zillow. They're selling all of our content to everybody. They're charging us for it and making millions and millions of dollars doing it. So when you think of your investment in the professional photography, you're investing in content, okay? And today, that might be the first sale you did on that block or in that building, and you may not sell another property in there for 2 or 3 years later. But when the time comes around and you do get it, now you have some content to work with. Even with this, okay, so also too, now they're gonna automatically establish a higher level of credibility. At least, it doesn't mean you're a great agent. No, it just means that you at least aren't a terrible agent. Okay, so at least you're sort of starting with a higher degree of credibility with that. And then most importantly too, they set you apart from the competition. And notice what I underline here, especially in lower price listings. Okay, a lot of people make the mistake of telling them $100 times better than every other listing in that building is to hire a professional photographer with the basic package. By making one phone call, you've already just outshined the competition. So get it in your mindset, especially, you know, with the lower price listings that I have. That's the area where you really want to hammer it home. Because remember, once you're at the 2 million, 3 million mark, they all look good. You know, everybody's got super high res videos, and it's really hard to even differentiate what's good and what's not. But at the lower, anything basically 500 and under 400, you know, in the 250, 300, that's an area, especially as newer agents, where you can sort of start stamping that, you know, each of those pages in your book. Along the way. These are opportunities, even with the lower price listings, to really hone your craft, to see what you're good at, to go back and reevaluate, see what you did good, see where you could have improved. Remember, I said, we got to focus on every listing we touch, every transaction we do, we got to level up. So this one was good. Everyone loved it. You know, some would say, oh, I'm just going to replicate it. No, I'm going to replicate everything that went good and I'm going to look for areas of opportunity. And now, you know what? I missed that. On the next one, now we've leveled up. And if we do that every single time that we get a listing you'll find that very quickly your skill level is going to accelerate very, very fast. And it's only going to grow like that. You're only going to get that experience if you put in the work and if you actually make the effort. And this one too, okay, so, you know, what do professional photographs do? They make the property look good and they make you look good, okay? But by making the property look good, you look good to the seller, okay? You look good to the neighbors, okay? You look good now because the seller sends the listing that you sent to all of their friends, to their cousin, and then you get calls like, oh my God, I don't know how you even made that place look that good. Like, I've been there, it doesn't look like that. It looks like that. I just had to go in and do some things, but it's making you, now your sphere is growing in a way, and it's growing with things that you can prove. There's proof to it. When they send your listing out, you look good. The sellers are now proud of hiring you. They're proud to recommend you. Everybody thinks, you know, we're going to do professional photography because they do make the property look good. But when you think of a lot of these points of why we're actually doing it, these are the tools that are going to give you that repeat business, you know, down the line. So creating a higher standard with our photography. So take a look at these two pictures here. It's the same exact room. I didn't do what some, you know, it's, too oftentimes you'll see they'll take the worst picture in the world and then they'll take a great, and they'll be like, oh yeah, look at the good and the bad. I don't like doing that because what I want to show you guys is that creating a higher standard is not about outspending your competition with more. It's not about spending $5,000 on some photographer. You don't need that, okay? It's more about the attention to detail and the little things. So the picture on the left, same exact room, okay? I know it very well because it became my listing on the right. The agent that had it before, it ended up not selling. Now the picture on the left is not a bad picture if you look at it. As a matter of fact, 9 times out of 10, with considering all the crap that we have in our MLS, like you look at that and you'd be like, all right, that's not bad. When you look over on the right though, you'll see a couple things. You'll see some stuff in here that I brought in for staging. Little green accent there. The blue sky photography, in my opinion, is huge. Always work with a company that does that because it makes the pictures pop. Same exact picture. Again, he added a little bit of furniture in there, so I'll give our other friend over here a little bit of credit. You know, he put some stuff up on the wall there, but realistically speaking, how much more did this take to this in terms of my effort? Not much. It just took the fact that I wanted it to be better, you know? So I'm gonna show you guys another picture. Same property, and again, we're talking under $500,000 listings, okay? This is really the sweet spot to stand out. Keep that in your head too. Don't let it just be expensive listings. No. Where you can really show your value, which is what's gonna make a seller work with you versus another agent, are the little details that I'm showing you now. So picture on the left, again, not a bad picture, right? A little bit dark. I don't know if that light, no, there's not even, it's not great. These blinds are not open here. A little bit cluttered there, kind of by the TV. Picture on the right, okay? First of all, blue sky photography. You notice that they put the image on the TV. Makes a big difference. It brightens up the photos substantially. You'll see some other accent points. The color tones inside this apartment are kind of washed out. It's a lot of white and gray. So we brought some little green things to pop here and there. You'll see on that coffee table. And on the one over here. But more importantly, if you notice on this picture, it's just a better angle of the room. That didn't cost any extra money. You just have to go in when you're working with your listings and really sort of find your, like, you know, be that sort of visual person and say, what's the best angle to capture this shot? I don't need 3. So look, here's what a lot of people do, and try not to do this if you do this. The living room is big. I don't really know how to shoot it. What do? It's just one picture here, one picture here, one picture here, line them all up. Next thing you know, the MLS has 42 pictures. Mind you, most people that are searching online are doing it on their phone. I don't know if you've ever looked at a listing on your phone and you're like, okay, by picture 43, you're like, is that the bedroom? Where you're like, I don't care, I'm done. So don't do that. You have to go into your property and you have to be that visionary and say, for each room, there's always usually a best angle. There can be several good angles, but there's usually always one optimal angle. You have to find it. And I have a point that I'm going to bring up. It's coming up, so I don't want to spoil it yet. All right, so we've talked about photography. We've talked about it's not hiring the most expensive photographer. It's hiring a professional photographer that's going to do a technically correct picture, and you bringing your brain, bringing a plan to the property to make it look better. Now we're getting into staging your listings, okay? This is probably the second most important thing. If we can graduate from chapter 1 of photography and take all those points with us, because without that, there's no getting here. So we've adapted all those principles. Now we're getting into staging. If you do just part 1 and you skip this, you're back in the general population. You're no longer a shining star. So first of all, when it comes to staging, don't be afraid to take charge and set up the home for success, okay? It takes, so first of all, it takes practice, which is why I said, do it with your lower price list. Do it with whatever listing you have. If you have a $150,000 listing, do it now. Start, get your practice going, because when you get to the $2 million seller and you need to explain to him why you got to move some things around, you better know what you're talking about, or he's going to, kick you to the curb and go with someone else. But you can't be afraid to take charge of the listing. You have to keep in mind, the seller is hiring you to make them more money. It's your skill level, or at least what they think is your skill level, that's going to do that. Because otherwise, if they do, they can just lower the price, sell it without a realtor, and in our market, it'll be sold tomorrow. So you cannot be afraid to take charge when it comes to the staging. This was the point I almost jumped to before, but this is huge. And I think too many people either didn't realize this or just never really thought about it. But remember, the photographer's job is to take a technically correct picture. They do not have the vision. They do not care. All that needs to happen is correct color balance for the image to be cropped correctly, and then they send it back to you. If you allowed there to be a ton of crap in the background, in the foreground, wherever, that's your fault. So too many people, and I see it in the MLS all the time, where I'll see the technically correct picture with the blue sky, and then I just see the staging, and I was like, it's not the photographer's job. It's your job. And again, when you learn how to do this, this is where you can demonstrate your value. When you can show people your past listings in this building where nobody else used professional photography, and I sit with the seller and I say, look at, this is what I do. This is your property. And you can even say, your property is even nicer than this one, and look at how good this one looked. So imagine what yours is going to look like when I get my grubby little hands on it and start moving things around. So remember, you hire a professional photographer, he shows up, sets up the tripod, shoots, okay? It's your job. You need to go in with the game plan. What's the best angle for the living room? Ask him, talk to him, look at the picture when he shoots it. Don't be annoying, but don't be afraid to ask questions either. Have that idea. Be open to his feedback and say, is there a better angle? Can you get a wider shot if you do this? But experiment a little bit with it. Don't hover around him looking at every single picture, but there are times where it's a very important room, when it's the real sort of deal maker room. Work with the photographer and have him try a couple things, and then go with whatever works best. But it's up to you to direct. He's the photographer, you are the director. You need to be the Martin Scorsese of your listing and direct. So what you have to do in order for this to work, you have to make notes before the photo shoot. You can't think that you're just going to show up on the day of and then all right, we're good to go. You have to make notes, because there's going to be things that you need to take away. There's going to be things that you need to bring. It's not something that can be done when you just show up. So you're going to make notes probably couple days before, whatever, but this is a time too where when you're in that, either in that listing presentation or after they've already signed it, where you can get the seller really excited about your expertise, and you can talk about, look, these are the ideas that I have, this is what we're gonna do, your living room has a lot of furniture, we're gonna move this chair out of the way because we're gonna get that open look here, and you're gonna get their buy-in on it. You're gonna explain to them that by listening to you and by following these instructions, they are gonna have a chance to get more money for their property. When you position it that way, the emotions attached to, oh, you're moving my couch and I don't like it and you're freaking me out. When you explain to them, and it's up to you to articulate that to them, that the reason why I am moving things is not because I don't like it. What I don't like is irrelevant. I'm positioning and moving things to make you more money because I know what's going to look good on camera, what's going to look good on the MLS, what's going to look good on people's phones. It's up to me to make you more money. That's why you're hiring me. That's why I'm here. So you have to have that conversation. It's a very bad idea to think that you're just going to go into someone's home on the day of photo shoot day and start touching things. You might get smacked. You might get kicked out. It might not end well. Or you might create a scene or create a lot of chaos versus having that really nice conversation where you get that buy-in from the seller supporting you, helping you move things. Hey, you need me to move this? I'll take everything down. What do you need? You have to get their buy-in. That's a conversation that needs to happen before you actually show up to do the photo shoot. This is huge, and it's not always that easy, but in my opinion, there's no excuse for ugly or unattractive furniture. Either remove it or bring something better. What you guys got to remember, if we do adopt some of these principles and change our mindset, we're building our biography with every listing. My biography is important to me. My biography is my future. I don't want a bad page in my biography. So ugly furniture, not going to happen. Ugly bedspread, I'll bring my own stuff if I have to. I can always return it after if I need to. There are things that you can do, but to just say, well, my seller's bedspread is purple and there's nothing I can do about it. No, there is something you can do about it. It's up to you to actually do something about it. And when you have that conversation with them, all you have to tell them is basically, we're just changing it for the photo shoot, and we're going to put it right back, because that's really all we're doing. We're not making they don't have to keep it that way after the photo shoot. I'm getting ahead of my own slides already. Because remember, because once you have the shot, you have it forever. You only need to get it right one time. So what I always tell my sellers too, even if they're very sensitive, let me move all your stuff. Let me make it look the way that I need to make it look to help you get the most money for it. And then we can put it back. And then I have a lot of sellers say, well, do I need to keep it this way? You can say, it's up to you. You know, if you're living in it, be comfortable. It's not that important after you have the photographs, because the photographs are going to be what draws everybody in, what gets people there. Once people are there, you can, listen, look, the bedspread's going to be pretty bad. Just move past it. People can overlook that, but if the pictures are bad from the get-go, you may not even get them through the door. So it's super, super important, and you have to have the mentality, we're just getting it right today. That's the beauty of still photography. You only need to capture it once. It's preserved forever. It's going in our biography. We look good forever. Seller likes it. Everybody's happy. All right, let me get a drink of water real quick, and then we're going to get into phase 3. Sure. Mm-hmm. Here's my point when it comes to, remember, if you consider investing in your business, would you take a bad headshot? Do you want to go for would you not want to use a headshot? You're investing in your business. Memo.
To answer that, I spend $200 on rent.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm making $1,000 commission because the way I see it, you're using a different word, but it's my brand.
Yeah.
Every time that somebody Googles someone with a stupid name like Memo, I'm coming up. You know what I'm saying? If my name was, I don't know, Louis Smith or John Doe, it'd be $1 billion. Look up Memo Real Estate. And you won't. I
gotta get a name like yours. That's good. If you want people to only be able to find you when they search you, you need a name. The history book. It's a history book of what you do good and what you do bad.
But the other thing is this: just because somebody's renting their apartment today, doesn't mean that they're not going to sell it tomorrow. The listing I'm getting next month is a property that I sold, that rented over and over and over again. And when it goes on the market, I don't need to take pictures again. I have done.
There you go. You have content, which is what's.
And my client appreciated the fact that I went out and spent $200. This is the thing. We get really cheap as we get really cheap. But to me, it's about brand. Because every time you Google me, I don't want to show up wrong. I don't want to show up in crappy pictures. I don't want to show up. You know what I'm saying? We want it to be elevated. And William, for that, William is amazing at it. You Google him, yeah, all his pictures. Look it up. If you look me up, anywhere you look me up, there's not a drunk picture there. I'm already moving. But it's about the brand. It's about making sure that when your client tells you up, they say, oh my God, look at this crappy picture that Memo put up of a $79,000 apartment in Hialeah. Or, damn, Memo put up a stunning apartment and it was in Hialeah, it was only $79,000.
I also want to go to keep in mind as well, when you put up professional photography, you're representing the brand, but then you're also representing London Foster. And we're a super fast growing company. We just made the 8,500 last year. We're kind of like, not to be rude, but we're not a big deal. So when you look professional and they look you up online and they see that you're tied to London Foster, and 8,500 company, they're like, wow, this person is serious about the business, the guy's going on, I like what they're doing, I like their flow. And they're going to look at our pages, you know, they're all seeing our social media. We influence, yeah, right? So, you know, you guys.
But then correct me if I'm wrong, but in regards to SEO,
Yeah.
if you have amazing photographs on your MLS, you're gonna get more traffic.
For sure.
If you have better pictures on your website, you're gonna get more traffic. The more traffic you get, the higher your SEO. The higher your SEO, the more likely you're gonna find you a winner.
So it's just you just go out your photos and then when they look at it, or they swipe on it, or they spend a little bit more time looking at your photograph a little longer, your search credibility increases every single aspect.
And I know for a fact that Zillow, Realtors, Julia, they actually have a
Algorithm or something, yeah.
I was for the word, but yeah, algorithms in which they can sell if your pictures are HD, they can sell it to the right.
Yeah, because remember, we've created now they're using they're not stupid. They want the best content. The best content gets the most clicks. That's how they sell advertising. So it sucks that they get to make money off our back. But remember, you're not, by investing in the listing, you're investing in creating content. So I want to bring up a really good point right now, because again, today is not about, it's all about leveling up. Whatever level we are, we just want to grow a level each time. It's not judgmental. It's not anything like that. But how many times, and maybe this might be some newer, but if you're kind of like stuck and you don't have a lot of business, that you'll see, you know, someone asks you, you know, can I market your listing? Can I market your listing? If any of us in here have done that, and I think it's been a long time, because once you start investing in your own content, you don't do that anymore. But how about this? Why would you want to market somebody else's listing? And you could say, well, maybe I'll get a buyer. Why not create content when you have the opportunity? That listing that you just sold, that you decided you didn't want to invest in, but now you're calling some other agent and pumping their pictures around and showing that on social media. Why would you ever want to pump anybody else's brand but your own? And even if you say, well, maybe I'll get a buyer, maybe this, that's short-sighted. That's like, go buy a scratch-off ticket or go buy Powerball. You're not going to get a buyer from that. You're not. Most of the stuff, you'll build hype for that listing, and that listing agent is going to be the one that's going to sell it. Very rarely, maybe there's like one lucky Powerball winner that's had a few of those, but it's not a sustainable way to run your business. Stop asking people to market their stuff. Start investing in the listings that you have. Market your own stuff. Don't, make it a point to be do it very good, be very protective of it, and use it to build your brand. So when people search you, they see you. I don't want somebody marketing my property, because now all of a sudden they're jumping onto the juice that my listing for having it, and then the great photography and video and everything that I use, they're basically stealing, SEO, clout, everything from me. I don't get anything from it. I don't need somebody to post it on Facebook
in person?
For sure. And they see it on somebody else's sloppy, yeah, no. Yeah, no. So, and then what ends up happening too, if you have a listing and you just let everybody run with it, because there's two schools of thought here, and this isn't even part of this, but now that we're on it, some people will tell you, let everybody market it, because more exposure means more potential buyers. That might be true, but what ends up happening too is the listing agent, they're getting every person that probably isn't even qualified that wants to see it. Who's the listing agent that has to be there for all those appointments, for all of those unqualified buyers? So now you've just got 30 new showing requests of people that weren't really qualified because they didn't come through you. Maybe the building doesn't allow pets and they have 2 dogs and the other agent doesn't care. He's hoping to get something. They just want to do a showing, so they're down for whatever. So now you've got 30 new showings of unqualified people because you let everybody run with your content. And then what happens? If that property is owner occupied and you get 30 strikeouts in a row and not even an offer, sellers look at you and be like, hey, like, I appreciate you bringing everybody through here, but the goal is to sell it, not to have, you know, a million people coming through my home. Especially when COVID was going on, it was much more difficult to show. So again, I don't know. For me, I like, just like Memo, when you search my properties, I want it to come back to me. It's not a selfish thing. It's a way to keep control because there's a certain level of quality and quality standards and obligation that I promise to the seller that I'm working with, that I have to sort of live up to. So when it comes to, you know, if you need to market somebody else's listings, work on getting a listing and then invest in that listing. Even if it's a rental, it doesn't matter. Now you have content on your social media and you have that, it goes in that book, it goes in your biographies. So, all right, I don't want to get too much off the subject. So MLS presentation, this is phase 3. We've done the photography. We've done the staging. Now we have, you know, our pictures and all that. Now MLS presentation. If you miss this component, you are still falling flat. You have to get all of these things right to really be elevated above the competition. Okay, this was a listing that I just had. I did a bunch of professional photography for it. I put it on the market on Tuesday. I had 10 offers by Sunday and it's gone. And I knew that I probably didn't have to do anything for it. I did it anyways because the second that you cut corners and you lower your standards, you give yourself an excuse to do it again. Just can't do it. No matter what, invest in it. Not to mention, I'm the only one whose listing looks like this in the whole community. So if anyone Googles this community, there I am. I've basically become an authority, even though I live so far from Pembroke Pines that when I get out there, without a GPS, I'm a dead man. So when it comes to getting your now we're getting all this content loaded into the MLS. So first and foremost, look for other examples and tailor your description around it. I think a lot of people either make one of two mistakes. Number one, they either try to reinvent the wheel and they spend 8 hours trying to come up with some Shakespearean, you know, type thing on how they want it to read. When, mind you, pretty much most apartment buildings things, there's a general flow of what the building offers. So look for other listings. Maybe you don't want to do too much of ones that are active because it's a little bit tacky. If I have my list and then I look and someone else has a new listing and their description is basically a cut and paste of mine, but maybe go to some just solds. What I tend to do, I'll look at 6 or 7 of the best closed sales that have good descriptions. I'll copy all of them, I'll paste them into a Word, and then I start dissecting, adding, and I'll sort of rewrite my story based on some good terms, and it doesn't take me that long. So I'm still taking my time with it, but I'm not reinventing the wheel because chances are I will miss something that was good that somebody else had. So don't make it hard on yourself, and don't be lazy either. Don't just copy and paste, especially another active listing. That's how you're gonna make enemies in the business. So don't be lazy with that, but look for things that have already been done and then add your expertise to it. This one is huge for me. Don't try to oversell it in the description. People don't like to be sold. It's just tacky. It looks bad. You know, will sell fast, won't last, like all those things, like it's not necessary. Soaring, you know, magnificent views, and then like the water view is like literally like this, like just call, like if you call it what it is, when people get there, they're usually like either, you know, more appreciative. They're like, wow, this is exactly what I thought it was gonna be. When she told, what was your name again, I'm sorry? Eve. When Eve told me that I looked just like my headshot, I love that. I don't know how much that, I don't know how many years left I have on it, but when you're true to what it is you're selling, you're still building that credibility. Now the other agent, the buyer's agent, knows that you're not full of it. They don't think that you're like a swindler. And we've all dealt with people that when you show up, the listing agent's there fast talking. Yeah, what, you putting in an offer today? It's the best deal. And you're just like, just chill. We just got here. Let me see if she likes it, and then we can move on. So in the description, don't try to oversell it. Keep it concise, keep it short, keep it simple and elegant, and don't try to make it do too much because it'll actually diminish your credibility. It's gonna make you look stupid. This is huge. Recently, now we have the ability in the MLS to attach all of the relevant documents. This means your seller's disclosure, your condo writer, HOA application, condo docs. If you can get all of that stuff, get it uploaded. The easiest thing you can do for yourself before your listing goes live is to have everything loaded. So when Eve calls me and says, hey, I'm sending an offer, can you send me the seller's disclosure? Hey, guess what? It's in the MLS. And guess what else is there? All the condo docs and the budget and everything else. So on that condo writer, just go ahead and check off that received condo docs already, so we can skip that part because it's already there. This is gonna save you time. It's a quick answer instead of, yeah, I'm driving, but I'll send you an email when I get home, or I'll do this, or I'll do that. Everything uploaded. Do the work on the front end. It's gonna save you so much time on the back end, and it's also going to establish your credibility. Now, all of a sudden, I'm sure that all of us in here, when you get a good vibe from an agent that's very useful, you're like, damn, I hope we can get this deal done. I like this guy. This is gonna.
Do that right now, as of right now, does anybody do that?
Yeah. Are we doing that? All right. Try to.
Do it on every single one.
Yeah.
That's key. That's
Yeah.
exactly what you should do.
And here's another thing too. If we all did more of this, the junk that makes up our MLS would be, it comes from us. We have to do it. It's going to happen, agent by agent, but we can get that to change if we start elevating that standard. Get all that stuff in there. It's going to save you time later, and it's going to let you know too. When you upload the rules and regs, you'll know pets 20 pounds, 25 pounds. Like, it's going to give you the information to maybe not waste a showing if somebody has a pet that doesn't qualify or whatever. It's going to save you time and money. My goal, every time I upload any type of listing, I aim to have the most complete listing of any of my competition. Doesn't mean the best. The best is a different word. Complete, meaning professional pictures, link to a website if there is one, all relevant documents uploaded, list of all the schools already populated, the correct amount of what the HOA payment is, and not just putting 0 because I wasn't really sure what it was, but I wanted it to go live. And then, of course, we all get those calls. Yeah, I really like this condo. The HOA is 0. There's no HOA with 0. It means that the agent was too lazy or didn't know. Don't do that. You might be, and I think either people are lazy, or when the HOA is higher, I think some agents think that it might be a turnoff to buyers. They don't want to scare people away. But do you want to waste your time showing to somebody that's not qualified? No, you do not. It's not worth it. And especially if the property is owner occupied, you cannot waste. You only get a certain number of times through that door when it's all smiles, until the smile starts to go kind of flat and then this way. And then they're like, are you serious? Like 60 showings and no offer. So you have to really eliminate the stuff that's not going to work. And you can do that by having a more complete listing. Don't overkill with redundant photos. Lead with the best, leave out the rest. You don't need 80 pictures. You don't need even sometimes 20 pictures. It depends how big it is. Sometimes 12 really amazing pictures will have people mesmerized on it and just cycling through it instead of getting bored, and getting lost in the photos. So you don't need a lot. You just need your best. Again, 3 pictures of the living room. The best one is the one you should always go with. And then this one too, don't make your listing active until it's 100% ready to go. Okay, get all your pictures first. Get all of your condo docs first. Get all of that before it goes live, and make sure that you explain to your seller, because sometimes we get, bullied or pushed a little bit by our sellers because they say, I want it up by Friday. I want it up by Friday. Listen, I need to have everything because we're only launching one time. And when it launches, it needs to launch like a Hollywood premiere, because in your first 72 hours is when you're getting the most serious buyers looking. Those are the people that have been waiting for it. You do not want to blow that opportunity by when you see image coming soon because somebody just posted it. And I know it's a good, and then I have to go into the history and I say, oh damn, this is a good one, but I can't send it to my buyer because when I send my buyer the listing, it says image coming soon. Don't miss that opportunity. Wait until you're ready, launch hard, and do it correctly, and then you're good to go. You're starting out correctly and you're going to end correctly, but don't rush it. Your first 3 days are probably your most important. So if you have to wait till Monday, wait till Monday, and you need to communicate that to your sellers. Do not let them tell you that it has to happen Friday if you're still missing documentation. Do it right. All right, so now we're going to talk about a couple different areas to leverage all of this new and beautiful content that we're investing in. Some of those obviously are Facebook, Instagram, obviously, blogs, YouTube. This works for your just sold, just listed, pending. your own personal database, any direct mail that you do, now you have content. You know, how are you gonna do a direct mail if you don't have good pictures? Have you ever gotten a postcard from someone and they used like a crappy, they spent the money on a direct mail and they used, it's like you can just throw the money in the trash if you're gonna do that.
We also help you with some of this marketing. So if you have any listings, go into your back office, under the marketing team, all of the stuff out there, and submit your photographs. Put your information on there. Go create these flyers, also complimentary. So utilize that. So you don't want to put together your own content marketing business with that company.
But you have to have something to work with.
Right, and you have to have quality images.
Right.
You know, we get probably like 8 bucks a day when we make these. And there's a lot of times we'll create from the agents, and when we'll come back and hey, you really should do a professional photograph. Especially whenever we post these on our social media platforms as well. We attach them to our email marketing.
Yeah.
Monthly as well. And we want to make sure we put your best foot forward as professional. So set it up.
One thing that I don't see on there, Liam, which we are doing now, we're pushing our agents to do it, guys, again, when I talk about it under marketing.
OnlyFans or no? OnlyFans? Okay. I said OnlyFans? Okay. That was the joke memo.
What I love is everybody that got it. That's the funny part. So we have QR codes. So if you're not using the QR codes, guys, it's a great opportunity to start doing it. Especially for what he says in the last one, which is advertise your personal website, drive traffic directly to your website. So if you haven't created QR codes for those listings, create one. Put it on the listing, put it on your signature, put it on the something you send out. And then clients are actually starting to use QR codes now.
And also too, stop asking to advertise other people's stuff and start pumping your own stuff out. Get it into your marketing game that you're, utilizing this stuff. So Eve had a question.
So here's my question.
Sure.
Regarding postcards, I send them out when I just sold property to the buyers.
Sure, good.
Right? And it's so funny because the last couple of days now I'm working on my marketing plan for listings. And I'm like, okay, the just listed postcard. Are we gonna send them to buyers or sellers? Because realistically.
No, usually your just listeds will still go within that community, and all you're showing is just that you're doing business in that community, and you're emphasizing its credibility that you can sell in this area.
Right, well, we're gonna, because you still have to target your list, you're gonna send them to, because if you target.
It doesn't matter.
Right, it doesn't matter. I mean, with direct mail, you usually want to target an area or a specific building or several buildings. The whole bit, yeah, because you never really know. And I mean, something you got to remember too with how your marketing works and when the payoff comes. And I talked earlier about, establishing yourself as an authority. There's a couple of buildings where I feel that I don't get every listing, but a lot of people come to me first. I don't take every single one of them anymore because they're not all going to sell and I can't waste my time. But I've had clients that have gotten a direct mail piece from me and saved it, and a year later said, and it's still the headshot that you talked about. But it's like, I got your piece a year ago, I saved it, I'm finally ready to sell. Can we meet? And I actually had a call just the other day of a gentleman that got one of my direct mail pieces. I met with him. We were going to talk about listing his property. He was going to buy a place in Las Vegas. He ended up, he was a little bit older. So when COVID hit, him and his wife didn't travel. So they're like, we're not getting on a plane. We're not going to Vegas. He called me, when was it? Tuesday. It was a weird number. So I thought it was a telemarketer. So I listened and then I hung up, and then he called back again. And I was like, okay. And he said, guess what? He's like, we're ready now. And he says, we're moving to Vegas. We're not going to wait. We're going to rent a place. We're going to already be out there. So I'm going to leave the place vacant for you, and I'll do whatever touch-up stuff. So even better for me, he's already out, which means I can show it when I need to. I don't have to beg and plead. Can I be there at 12:30? Oh, we're having lunch at that, so, but that was someone that contacted me from one of my direct mail pieces a year ago. COVID he still remembered. If you put out good content, people will remember. And sometimes If they like you and they like your message and your style, they'll wait. It just means that maybe it's not the right time for them, but they'll wait, you know? So you have to think about when you say, well, it's a lot of work. Am I doing too much with this? Not if you want people to remember you. And that's really in the long game. If you're going to do this out in the long game, you need people to remember you because they will call you. So in terms of, and that's one of the best ways to establish yourself as an authority in a building is to do direct mail, because they're looking at your content standing in their living room, in that building, and you're demonstrating that you have sold and done work in that building. So even that to me is way better almost even than any type of social or online, because there's something about that connection of me being in my building, looking at a piece of the building, seeing prices in that building, seeing your face and thinking that, well, I need to sell. This person is probably good because how else would I have this in front of me? So some of the, now again, we're getting into the mindset of we're investing in our content. Once you have content, you can do so much with it and you're not going to even use it all right away. But I had a rental listing that I'll show you later on that I'm able to use for like other contents. There's so many different things you can do with it once you have it. But if you have zero content, you literally have nothing to start with except for borrowing other people's listings. And it's basically like a backwards way to go about building your brand. All right, so here are some additional benefits if we sort of employ these three, you know, from the photography to the staging to how we do the MLS and how we sort of elevate our standards. But number one, sellers are more inclined to heed our advice during the listing term. This is huge because we've all had listings where the seller is driving us crazy and telling us things that don't work or don't make sense, and they're the know-it-alls, and we've lost that leverage with them, and they're telling us that they want to be there for every showing, and that they want to cook lunch during the showing, and that whatever it might be. So when you've upped your game, when you've leveled up and you've established a higher level of credibility, they're much more inclined to heed your advice during the listing term. Number two, they're less inclined to criticize or doubt your efforts. That is tough for us realtors because we all work extremely hard, and there are some times when sellers aren't getting their way. It's your fault. You didn't do this. You didn't do enough of that. So it's always nice when you can sort of set the expectations in a way that they're not going to criticize you, that they know already. You launched hard, and they know it's a market thing. It's not a marketing thing. It's not me. It's not marketing. It's the market. So now we need to wait. We priced it a little bit high because you wanted to go higher. Now we get to wait. It's not because, oh, you should try shooting better pictures. You should try shooting a video. Already been done. We already did that. Number three, higher chances of the listing selling and probably selling faster. This is good for us. We get paid quicker. Less likely of, putting in 6 months of work and not getting any money for it. So higher chances of it selling, that pays dividends. And then lastly, this one is huge. Higher chances of the sellers extending the listing agreement if it doesn't sell versus switching to a new agent. You do good work, 6 months goes by, it doesn't sell, there's a lot of competition in the building, you had a few near misses that didn't happen. 6 months comes to an end and they say, you know what, we're going with so-and-so now. Thanks, but pack your stuff and get out. That sucks, especially if you've done good work. When you put in the work though, and when you do it correctly, there's a much greater chance of them saying, we know it's not you, we know it's not your marketing. We realize now after 6 months, maybe it is a price thing. You know what you told us before that we didn't listen to, let's lower the price 20,000. And they'll ride with you, they will stay with you. So, I had a listing that I closed a couple months ago that it took like 14 months. It was the only listing I've ever had that went over a year that didn't either like kick me to the curb or me kick them to the curb. And it ended up selling, and they were the most like grateful, loyal. And we rode it was pre-COVID, then we rode the COVID roller coaster. It was a lot of work, but they stuck with me, and they could have easily at any point in time kicked me to the curb, and eventually it was going to sell regardless of who was there, but I didn't waste a year of effort. So that's a huge thing. So remember, when you're putting in all this energy and all this work in your listings, you're sort of safeguarding your future with that seller as well, meaning that they're not just going to bounce you after 3 months, 6 months, whatever, and move to someone else. So that, to me, this is well worth my time investing in. And now we're going to talk about what I said before, is that mentality of the aiming for the 2 for 1. And I think that you'll like this as well. we always need to look for an opportunity to attract newer clients with each listing we have. So you have to be creative sometimes. It's not always just about get the listing, make it look good, do the showings, get it sold, do the just solds, put it on the social, and then like lather, rinse, and repeat. You know, you have to look for, every listing is unique, every neighborhood is unique. You have to find the little, what about this made it interesting? What about, was this the highest sale? Was it the fastest sale? You have to look for that edge. The fact that it's sold, nobody cares about. When you can articulate the why it was important, why it was significant, the only 2-bedroom that sold above this price, the only 3-bedroom that sold in the last, the highest sale price in the last 6 months. It doesn't have to be the highest price historically. You could even do the highest price in the last 30 days. But find that little angle, because that again is, that's your marketing angle. And if you're literally just saying just sold, you might have sold it for 20% less than everybody else. You know, you're not, just sold is not enough. Just listed is not enough. Even on your just listeds, is it the biggest, the best, the smallest? Is it the lowest price direct oceanfront? The lowest, you know, the large, whatever it is, you have to find that angle and you have to work it. Becoming an authority in the area or the building is going to bring you future business like you have no idea. And it takes time. Okay, it might take a year, it might take 2 years, it might take 5 years. Once you're the authority though, it's only up to you to basically knock yourself off the pedestal. You will have people contacting you. You get to pick and choose who you want to work with. I've had many a times where sellers call me and you go, oh, yeah, I want to sell. And you show up and the place is a night and you just know it's a bad deal. And they're super upside down. The place is a mess and it's just zero hope. Those are ones where I can, you know, gracefully decline. But having people reach out to you to want to work with you changes the game, you know, especially in, it's very much a rejection type business where people are telling you you're not good enough or we're going to do something with somebody else. When you can get to that level where people are seeking you out, it's like you feel like all that 2 years, 5 years, whatever, however long it takes you, like I've finally arrived. It's a very great feeling to have, but it only comes by doing that work day in, day out, listing by listing, leveling up each and every time. This is super important too, because I said you got to find that angle of trying to get 2 deals out of 1 every opportunity you touch. Even if it's a different building or a different neighborhood, you can still leverage it to other sellers. So I'm going to give you guys an example. The listing that I had that I just showed the little screenshot was a townhouse in Pembroke Pines. Okay, I don't really work that much in Broward. So somebody might just say, well, I'm not going to do too much with that because that's not really my area. You know, once in a while something will happen, but there's no real use for it. That's one mentality. The other mentality is, okay, how can I make this work for my business? Okay, now I've just sold a waterfront townhouse. Coconut Grove has townhouses. Aventura has townhouses. So now when I'm dealing with sellers, I can say, look at this beautiful townhouse. I know how to bring out the value of townhomes. Now I'm not just selling the geographical area. I'm showing an expertise in a very unique thing that sellers are attracted to. It's like telling a guy who owns a Ferrari, I know how to fix Ferrari. Even if I fix classic Ferraris, I know how to fix Ferraris, you know, instead of I fix exotic cars. There's that connection that you make when you can look for those little angles. So, or even so, what I mentioned before with like lower price listings, you can leverage that, you know. You sell a $250,000 apartment that you made look beautiful in Aventura, and now you have one up in Hallandale. Someone's like, well, you don't sell much in Hallandale. Yeah, but guess what? Look at what I do for properties priced at your price point, and look at what everybody else in your business that you're thinking about working with is doing. What do you think is going to get you more money? So you have to look for those ways to leverage it, but it doesn't have to be, oh, I sold in Aventura, so I can only use that in Aventura. You have to find those ways to really sort of say, I can use it. There's unlimited possibilities of how you can use it. You just have to sort of dig for it.
I saw something online that kind of talks about this a lot, like there's an example, an entrepreneur talking about he sells oranges, right? So that's his one revenue stream is selling oranges. Well, how about you take that same orange and you cut it up and you see it, now you're selling oranges out of the same oranges, right? And also on top of that, maybe you start a course about selling oranges and you sell it online. So it's the same orange, you're now selling oranges, now it's making food, you're now putting out content online to sell, and
So look, super good example. So you have, so that townhouse, for example, it was listed at 275,000. Not even that's why there was so many people that wanted it. Now I can leverage that to anybody else that owns a townhouse, and they can look at it and say, yeah, but that's, my townhouse is 800,000 and that's doesn't matter. It's a townhouse, you know, look at it. It's the same thing, and it gives you an angle. At the same time too, I can say for someone who has a listing, even in a condo, under 300,000, look at all these beautiful properties and look at all the different things I can do. So now it's a price point. It may be, you know, geographically driven. Maybe it is Sunny Isles to Sunny Isles, and now you can say, you know, I sold over here, I sold over there within Sunny Isles. But you know, there's a lot of different ways that you can leverage each listing. You can say listings that I put on the market where I had over 10 offers in the first 3 days. So you just have to kind of like peeling back that onion and seeing where you need to use it. And if you put in the effort and you have the good photography and you have that good basis, now I have all the good pictures. Then when I just write down on my notebook where I want to spread it out, I already have everything to go along with it. So don't fall into that mindset of, well, I sold this one house in Aventura, I guess I'm a one-hit wonder, I can't sell anything else here. Figure out the things: pool home, 2-story home, a home that has some sort of special feature to it. You have to make that work for you. And again, but if you go into it, every listing I'm getting a listing in this building, in that neighborhood in Pembroke Pines. My goal when I'm done there, and I did have a few direct buyers contact me because my stuff looked better than everybody else, even though I couldn't really tell you how to get to the nearest gas station from there, in all honesty. But that's irrelevant. People want to work with a professional. You can find a gas station on Google Maps. Working with somebody that you trust who has a high credibility is worth way more than the guy that knows the best park, the best restaurant. I get top placement now. So it's really just about, you know, those really putting in the effort. The payoff doesn't happen right away, but you're going to see, you're investing in your brand, you're investing in your future, you're investing that people are going to seek you out. So we're almost wrapping this up, but again, today is really, there's a lot of stuff in here that I hope that you'll employ, but it's really more so the understanding the mindset that we're going to leave here today with. And here's some things that I want us to get out of our heads for the rest of our lives. I don't have enough money for marketing. If you don't have enough money for marketing, go get a different job. There's always money for marketing. Figure it out. Photography is not expensive. Level up. Again, you don't have to. There's some people that spend $10,000 a month. I'm not saying you got to compete. No, but whatever your level is today, take it up to the next level. Then once you've taken it there, next opportunity, next one up. Don't just level up here and then stay here. We're going to try to take it up. But I don't have money for marketing. Yes, you do. If you're taking listings, you have money for marketing. Skip on the seller's gift and invest in the photography. Your seller's going to like you more. You're going to probably sell it faster, and then you're going to get more money. So now now all of a sudden, with that first change of mindset, now you're going to have better opportunity to have more money to invest in your content, in your marketing. This one too. Don't ever let me hear anybody that was in this room or on Zoom say this again either. My listing is not that nice looking, so professional pictures aren't worth it. Now, I've said this. I think I might have said it recently, but we have to get this out of our heads because it's not true, because we're investing in our content. It's not just the listing. It's twofold. Exactly. 100%.
You live in a 7-bedroom, 6-bathroom house, then you do that as 13 bedrooms. If you live in a studio, anything with a bedroom is nice. You know what I'm saying? People in Hialeah.
Anything that doesn't have like the plumbing falling out of the wall or like, you know, so. The what?
Ugly houses. I have one.
Oh, ugly houses? Okay, all right, but hold on. So look, I wrote that. No, so look though, you brought up one of the most important things that I had in my notes, and I was almost gonna bypass. But remember, as a realtor, anybody can sell a Palm Island new construct. Anybody can do that. If you put in the work with your small, if you can become the person that can make ugly houses look good, you are valuable.
But again, we're going back to the same point. Palm Bay, beautiful brand.
Anybody can do that.
No, that is to the person who's looking for a brand new house in Palm Bay. You just said it right there. An investor could care less what it looks like. What
want
does
all the
I'm
houses.
asking, Rita, what does he care about?
Numbers.
The land, the numbers, what schools nearby. So if your house is horrendous, you can't get inside because it happens. I know it happens to some people in this very room that they got in the listing that they can't get inside. And all you do, take a picture of the nearest park, take a picture of the nearest supermarket, whatever it is that is your strong point, because that buyer is not the one who's talking about that.
Or-
It might be amenities, it might be an aerial shot.
Or what you can do too,
And this, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but this is the problem. The problem is that we depend on technology. I get your point, and as a realtor, I get your point. When I see one of those, like, I bought it, she got 11. The buyer does not care. Google, Zillow, Realtor does not care. Does anyone know how many pictures need to be up? Does anyone know? 21 photographs have to be up. If not, Zillow, Realtor, Trulia will penalize the listing. Remember what you just said? They will literally look at your listing and say, they're not HD. We add a point. There's not 21, we add a point. They didn't use the keywords, we add a point. This guy has no six. And what they start doing is the more points you go, the lower it gets. Because William said it very matter of factly, but it's true. They're an advertising firm.
yeah,
They're not looking to sell real estate, they're looking to sell advertising. So what they're looking.
they're selling your content.
The best properties. So when you say to me, the property is terrible, I have only one picture, and from the outside, you just basically talk about the list. Get 24 pictures, get them of the neighborhood, get, drone thing. Get a drone.
OnlyFans.
And get pictures of the neighborhood, how far is it from the beach, how far is it from a lake, how far is it from the school? Those are pictures you can put on the ugly house. And again, ugly is subjective. Because to that buyer who's looking for a 6-bedroom house, is not gonna buy that. But this guy who's an investor, this guy who's a fixer-upper, this guy who lives in the neighborhood and knows what the.
Well, here, well,
But we can't always do that.
so look, what,
That's a good point here on Zoom. Christy has a good point here on Zoom, kind of talking about, if you don't have a good listing, build a listing presentation with all the benefits that listing has. So, even if it is ugly, put together the presentation and spin it as an investment opportunity, right? You said virtual staging. You may have something to do that. Our vendors in the back office, professional real estate photography that we have on there, they do virtual staging. So they can take a photograph of your listing, drones, inside the ugly place, and they can virtually change the inside to what it could look like, right? So you could do that as well. Christy also wrote, virtual staging, high definition photography, of course, and they offer home warranties that protect the seller during the So some ideas, and I think the virtual staging is really good at that too. Like, they have a backyard and it's trapped. What they can do is, if there's land there, they can virtually put a pool, or virtually put a deck, or virtually put anything, that you see or envision in your mind. So work with professionals, like William was talking about, and one of the good things that Untitled.net, under the vendor section, we provide you a whole list of anything that you need when it comes to real estate, from photography to,
I don't want to take outside the box. Now, this is something else about something you mentioned earlier.
hold on. No, I'm good, thank you.
William mentioned something earlier about it being, false or not false. It's our responsibility when pictures come out wrong. Photographer, again, I can talk about this all the time. The photographer's job is not to be a realtor. That's why they hire us, right? So the photographer literally is an artist. And sometimes they will, and you need to go.
Mm-hmm.
This is not what I'm selling.
Don't let them leave without going through the camera
I was
roll.
going to give you
Yeah,
a
yeah.
suggestion, but this is what I do. I swear to God, I do this every time. I show up an hour early. Okay? I put up the AC, because when you have a frustrated photographer who's hot and annoying, guess what he does? he leaves. When he's happy, I bring him water, I bring him a snack. Hey, he's my best buddy. Steven,
Yeah, Steven's the bomb.
I take care of him, I treat him like gold, my friend, how are you? I don't know how to do it for him. This is the other thing. I take every photograph before he arrives. In other words,
You know already the vision you have, right?
We should be doing. This is the angle with these three walls. That's one thing that you mentioned. The difference between the pictures that he showed is that people usually go to a corner, they grab their phone and they put the phone here and they put the picture down. Okay? So now you have no ceiling, you only have floor. So unless you're selling floor, that doesn't work. What you have to do is step out of the corner and take 3 walls. That's what gives that appeal. So I do that because I know what Steve is good. And I literally suggest kindly. This is the picture I want. This picture. First of all, he appreciates it. Second of all, then he comes in and goes,
Try this.
why
Yeah.
don't we move that couch?
Yeah.
Let's just move it 2 inches and then it'll. And it's happened and he said to me, Memo, why don't we move those pots?
Yeah.
Memo, why don't you get rid of that coffee maker? I said, all counter.
Everything.
But this is my point. You should prep for it because then when you did this, first of all, you made his job easier. It goes quicker. He's gonna give you 3 or 4 pictures for free. Every time.
No, but what he'll do too, he'll also lose patience if you don't have it ready. So you either go from having it going very good to being very short. Which one do you want to have, you know?
My suggestion is
Yeah.
come in an hour earlier, turn on the AC, clean up the coffee maker, if there's a welcome mat on the, and you can get rid of the toilet paper roll, it's basic stuff. Look down the seat, do all that before he gets there. Look, the apartment or the house is freezing. He's got a freshly nice water. I brought him a donut. I brought him a Starbucks, whatever it is. And then when he comes in, he's happy to see you. He's working. Man, I love working with you, Memo.
Yeah.
Hi, Memo.
The vibe is awesome. Yeah.
And then it goes like this.
Yeah.
We do our 24 pictures, and then he goes, I'm going to take this one, this one, this one.
So one other point too, getting back to the ugly house, and sometimes, yes, there's not anything that can be done, whatever, but before you just, because remember, sellers are smart. They want to do the least amount of work and they want you to do all the work, okay? They want the most money, they want to do they want to spend the least amount of time. So you got to be careful too, that you don't fall into the trap, because maybe there's a conversation, maybe he's completely not willing to do anything, and that's okay. But it shouldn't just be because he says, well, this is how it's going to be. Have the conversation. Did you think about if we paint the inside, it might cost you $1,200, but it's going to make this place look good. We could, when you can articulate why it can maybe make him more money, they may not agree. And as we know, some sellers literally, they expect you to do miracles with nothing. But there are often times where I myself, and I'll say, I don't want to be in a relationship with a seller where they expect me to carry too much of the weight, because I can do a lot. But you gotta walk with, we can walk through the desert, but you gotta walk with me. I'm not gonna carry, you're not gonna stay back here and make me walk it alone. So maybe that's an opportunity to have that discussion. If it's absolutely no, and they're not gonna do anything, and it's your choice, then you make that decision. Do I wanna take this? Now, you'll get the transaction, you'll get the paycheck, which is good. We need money to keep ourselves going, but that's gonna be an opportunity that's gonna be harder to grow your business in the future. So you gotta pick and choose. As more your business and as more people want to work with you, you got to cut off some of the people that are take and make you do more for less, and keep your options open to work with the people that are going to treat you correctly, give you things that not only are going to sell a higher price, but give you options to continue to grow your brand with. So it's tricky, but those are the situations too where you have to ask yourself, is this listing worth it for me? Because sometimes when you start adding up all the reasons why he's not going to do, like, how does this help me? And as realtors, too many strikes, too many, rejections. After a while, you get frustrated and you're out of the game. So you got to sort of limit some of that damage that we take too. So it's just a question. I've taken bad listings before. Sometimes they don't sell. You still end up with conflict with the seller. You feel like you feel that you disappointed them, even though they didn't give you any tools whatsoever to accomplish the mission. So, but if the listing is not that nice looking, that means you at least need to go in and make it look 10 times better than whatever it was. I'm not saying you make a bad looking listing look like a model house, but you make it look 10, 20 times better than whatever it was. So at least when they look at it, they say, damn, like, okay, now you've just demonstrated your value. When you first show those pictures that you get to your seller, if they don't say damn, if they're not looking at it like that, then you've missed an opportunity to really demonstrate your value. So doesn't have to be, if it's ugly, it's ugly. Make it less ugly, make it more appealing, get a better angle. You know, I've had listings that are ugly, but that are shot correctly and they sell. So this one, I'd rather spend it on a more expensive listing. You hear a lot of people say this, or they say like, you know what, I'm gonna wait when I get another, like that's when I'm really gonna ramp up the marketing. I need something good because I want everyone to see it. And the big mistake with that is all of the little things you're gonna learn on the smaller listings of how to work with the photographer, what are the best angles, what stuff you need to bring for staging, what difference it made when you brought the duvet versus leaving what was there, even arranging the pillows. All that practice that you get with your $275,000 listing, your $300,000 listing is battle testing you. So now when you get the $1 million, the $800,000 listing, you're having these upfront conversations with the sellers right away. It's not surprising them after. You're just coming from a much professional standpoint because you've had that game experience of these listings. So don't wait, whatever, even if it's a rental listing, use it as practice because it's not just the content that you're creating, you're practicing the staging. Your goal, even on this $1,200 rental, how do I make this thing look so good that everybody wants to call me to rent it or says like, wow, I can't believe it's only $1,200. And then you're like, well, if you saw the street that it was on, then you would understand, but at least the inside looks phenomenal. So don't wait or think that you can sort of like kick the can down the road and that you're gonna arrive somewhere else. You know, you have to do it now. The practice is how you get good. The reason why I'm good now is because I've leveled up every single time, and each and every time I look for a different angle or one little edge that I can get moving up from there. One is huge too. Nobody else in the building or nobody else at this price point is using professional pictures, so I'm not going to either. I can't, if anything you walk away from today, if you have a lower price listing, and I'm just saying, like, let's say less than 300,000, this is the area that you can shine the hardest, the easiest and the fastest in terms of building your credibility, being the authority. And again, you might think it's a $300,000 listing, it's not that important. Well, guess what? Now another person in the building sells with you. That's another one. Then you get another one. Now all of a sudden you've done 1.2 million in that building. After those three, I can promise you, your number's gonna be on speed dial for people, you know, first choice in that building. So easiest way to elevate your brand, easiest practice with sellers, with the experience, and get good at it. See what you did good. Now's the time to do it. Don't wait or think that it needs to be done when you've arrived somewhere else, because you're only gonna get there by doing it starting today. So this is sort of like my little follow-up, but all of our success in real estate is basically gonna boil down to these three things. Number one, your habits, the things that you do good, the things that you do that are not good. Your professional standards, which today we're changing our mindset a little bit and trying to open things up and our understanding of why we do some things. Number three, your marketing ability. This is where I said we gotta level up, okay? If you're not leveling up, then somebody else is and you're leveling down. If you're standing still and other people are going up, you've just come down. But lastly and most importantly, your ability to demonstrate your value to the sellers, to the buyers. If you can't do this, they don't deserve to give you the listing. Remember, listings aren't given, listings are earned. I hate when I deal with something like, I'm gonna give you the listing. Nobody get, like, no. It's semantics per se, but listings aren't given. Anyone that gives somebody a listing, if it's like a friend thing, watch when it doesn't sell in 3 months, how quick what be given, be taken away quickly, real quick. Everybody, you ask any realtor, what will they tell you in their biography? Great marketing, superior marketer, expert negotiator, and great marketer. Everybody uses those two words, right? Everybody's a great marketer in this room. You're a great marketer, you're a great marketer, you're a great marketer, I'm a great marketer. Let me ask you a question. Show me great marketing. Stop telling me for a second. If you can't show me, you're not a good marketer. And I'm not saying that about anybody in here, but you have to change the mindset. This talk of, I'm great at negotiating. You can't quantify being great at negotiating, but you can quantify being great at marketing, because the pictures, the content, the things that you can create, last forever in history. So think about that with the things that you guys do. If you can't demonstrate your value, somebody else is going to do it. Somebody else is going to get that listing. Somebody else is going to knock you out the game. It's not worth it. You can do it. It starts with you, a little bit of investment, a little bit of time, use your brain, have a focus, and be able to demonstrate value. So lastly, real quick before I wrap up, I made this a long time ago, but we talked about like having good content. Some of these in here were listings that I sold, but just so you can see what you can do.
I want to see that first picture.
No, that's me working.
I know, I want to see that.
Remember when I said this is what an expert negotiator looks like. So, I know, Daniel, shout out to Daniel.
And that's one thing too, like, really, one of the awesome things you do, and I think that's my girl, is kind of that binder too.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, like, with Will, we did a video last year, he had an amazing property, a beautiful listing, right? And so when we went, he was like, hey, let's shoot this video of the property. I was like, okay, cool, yeah, we'll shoot that one video, but let's get more out of it. Out of that one day, we filmed 4 different videos out of really good what I do, but then I'm making ads now. I create Facebook and Instagram ads with the content that I made for him. So it's like,
The better your content, the better your ads, the better the response, everything.
one video with creating 10 different
Yeah.
arms out.
You can chop it up and you can use it in the future. The sky's the limit. It's only up to your imagination of how you can spin it and use it. But look, this was a rental that I had. So someone could say, I think it rented for like $3,400. Not, like I could have easily not shot any professional pictures whatsoever, and it would have rented the same speed it did. But guess what? I got that beautiful shot. This was the inside of it. So when you sit with customers and when you can show them, sometimes I haven't taken this, I've been lucky lately. I don't want to say lucky, maybe it's this level up, but I haven't felt the need to bring this out and let the pictures do the talking for me. But sometimes it's good to be able to do that. I used to put this down and just not say anything and say, check, this is what I do. I'm saying, I don't have to oversell it. And they start going through it, and then, do we sign today, or did you bring the paperwork, or that's that same one. So look, we've got some stuff here. That's condo. There's another townhouse. And I tried to show some variety in here, so when people see it, that's the back. That was the backyard. Sorry. That was Sunny Isles. So again, a little bit of oceanfront. Look, this one we worked with Daniel. Look at that. I've used this picture, if you've ever gone on my like a gazillion times. Almost so much that I'm kind of like, I gotta give it, I don't like it anymore. It's too much. It's gotten too much use. But look, those are interior shots. You see that blue sky? I mean, you can't. The picture. I don't have to say anything. When you sit down with the seller, and they see that, you don't have to explain. You don't have to do much. All you have to do is say, yeah, your place like that. We signed today. We're good. That's it. It's very, very simple. Yeah. See, and then you gotta do. Well, remember, like, so look, I was thinking about it, and because I was trying to articulate how to explain why every little listing you touch, sort of like every decision we make in life, sort of whatever, in the, creates that little impact or whatever. But I was like, listings are really, truly what I said in the beginning. That only came to me last night is where I re-added that in there. It's really the only tangible piece that you walk away with in this business that you have forever. You work with a buyer and you close it, all you have is the commission, which gets spent on rent or mortgage or whatever else. You have nothing, and you have a good relationship with the client, but you don't have anything to take with you to the next level or to do anything with. So it's really only with the listings do you have that ability to do that. And if you waste that opportunity, like I said in the beginning, you don't get it back. Once the listing is sold, you can't call the new buyer, hey, you're the new buyer, remember me, I represent, listen, you know, I kind of took some half-assed pictures while I was selling it, but you mind if I come in real quick and do some other thing? Like, you don't get that, you don't get a second chance to do it, you know? So it doesn't matter what but you have to start somewhere. So like I said, to get here took a lot of effort, took a lot of mistakes, took a lot of practice. And even where I'm at now that's why I haven't even used this lately, because I feel that where I'm at now, just keep stacking those levels. But you have to start somewhere. So whatever level you came in today with, see where you're at, take some of these tools, level up, and then once you're done with it, look back at it, go back to it, and see areas that each time you can step up. Thank you guys. So, no questions. Anybody follow me? It's William McClain 305. Follow me on Instagram. I'll follow everybody back. Okay.
With entering a listing into the MLS, what do you recommend for any broker advertise? I don't know what that means.
That's a new one. Knowing me, I probably put no, because I don't like my stuff being where it shouldn't be.
And then what's one question?
Yeah, I like for people to have to ask me, and then my answer is always no. But I need to know.
One last question, national. We kind of touched on this a little bit, but just check it out one more time. Any tips for the best ways to obtain listings?
Yeah, the best way to get listings is to start with whatever you have, is to start with your content and start being able to demonstrate why you're good at marketing. The only thing a seller cares about is what you can do better than whoever else they're talking to help them get more money, feel more comfortable, or get it sold faster. So whatever you can do now to have something tangible is key, because I'm a great marketer, and you're like, if I tell you I'm a great marketer, the only thing you have to judge me, you're like, well, he had nice shoes, so maybe. But when you can give somebody something tangible to work with, it's a game changer. And too many people stick to just go to my website. No one's going to your website. Nobody cares about your website. You have that interaction where you can physically, whether it be this, whether it be a direct, whatever it is, to show them something that they can touch. And that's why direct mail pieces are so effective, because there's that physical touch to it while they're standing in their property or in their apartment. That's not the same as when you everybody looks good online. Everybody looks good. Everybody looks selling $50 million a year online. It's when you show up and then you're like, listing presentation? That's not what the website said. And you missed that opportunity. So for sure, it starts with having things that you can tangibly show people that you're good at what you do. Thank you, Ashley.
Everyone, I just want to say thank you for coming. And for those of you that are eating, please have some more food. And for those of you who have to go, I appreciate you coming. You can go, but if anyone who wants to stay, we're just going to keep Q&A real quick. Okay? But for those that go, you are welcome.
Yeah, sorry. I think we went. I don't even know what time it is. Yeah. What do I gotta do? I know. We're gonna stay on, right? Okay.
Does anyone else here have any questions?
Sure.
Can you share your monthly plan? Like, where you eventually spend your money? Like, monthly? Like, I see you have. Like, do you buy, what's your monthly?
It depends, because remember, like I said, every listing has an angle. So you have to kind of.
You follow the list. Let's take a listing on Instagram. You have a listing.
Right.
You buy things.
Not usually. Sometimes. It depends. Well, yeah, no, I don't like Instagram, because for me, Instagram is a closed loop. It's only people. What I like about YouTube is owned by Google. YouTube, it has search engine. Instagram does not, and YouTube you can still get. YouTube is like something that you'll still, whatever you put in, you still have the chance of getting something back. Instagram, if you're not feeding the machine, you feed it 100 tokens, you get 100. Like, you're only getting out what you put in. Yeah. Not a, not, I love direct mail. I love direct mail.
But okay, what about, say, you're doing any kind of ads?
Not really.
So you don't pay.
I used to be on Zillow, but they jacked up, and then they changed a lot of the things. And like I said, when I invest in my, so whatever, if you try to buy into Zillow right now, if you're spending anything less than $2,000 or $3,000 a month, you're probably not getting much. You have to almost spend at least and even then you never know what you're gonna get. For me to spend on my listings and to spend on direct mail, I'm not spending $3,000 a month, or if I am, then it's on multiple, across a broad spectrum, and I'm establishing myself as an authority. Remember, everybody clicking in. No. So I've not really been that good lately on the e-blast. My database, I don't like, I'm very, maybe you kind of got this vibe already. I'm very particular, and I like treating people how I like to be treated. Sometimes it works a little bit to my detriment in marketing. Oh, thank you so much. Follow me and I'll follow you guys back. Let's keep in touch. I don't like spamming people that are in my thing. Like when I do it, when someone gets something from me, it has impact. Even on my post on my Instagram, I don't have 1,000 posts. I wait. If I had a closing this week and I have something else good to post, I don't post Tuesday and then post Wednesday. I'll post today. You might see something that you think just happened to me today. It happened a week or 2 weeks before, but there's timing of when it needs to happen, and you need to spread it out. If you shoot all your bullets in one clip and you have nothing else out, you don't want to clog your Instagram up. You don't want to be a single poster per se, and you don't want to post too little that people start to. So it's a fine. I mean, but you said that's what they say. It depends who they is. If you're selling real estate, it's not. Remember, they're not realtors. They're talking about influencers. They're talking about real estate is different. If you're bombarding everybody with real estate shit every single day, it's annoying. It's super annoying because remember, buyers you buy a house once every 5-10 years. It's not an everyday thing. It's not even like buying a pair of shoes or the shirts and now I get followed. I don't even click on anything on Instagram anymore because it follows me. I'm like, not always, but like I said, so it depends what I'm trying to do. So remember, if you're trying, what I've been focusing on now in this market, more listings, because working with buyers right now is difficult. You can't find stuff for sale. You'll blow your brains out. They don't want to pay over asking price. Even when they do, there's 10 offers. So what I've been doing since it's been much more of a seller's market, instead of just blowing the budget because, I'm being selective of listings are much more important and more valuable right now than buyers are. So right now it's more targeted towards getting listings, but when you do a listing good, buyers call you. So even, and that's why I kind of hate Zillow, because on my Pembroke Pines listing, the first day it went live, because I had the video, I had everything up, it had 380 views on Zillow the first day. And I don't know if you guys know, but you can go into Zillow on the back end and see your metrics. So you should always do that, because that's a good sign too of knowing when you need to change things. Sometimes your first picture that you thought was good isn't the best. And sometimes after a week or 2 weeks, you'll rotate the pictures. So, you can always do, that's a free way to kind of give yourself a little bit of extra boost, but sure.
Jolt lead?
What?
Jolt?
Jolt lead?
Yeah.
I think I've seen it, but I don't know what they do. I've seen it somewhere in the. No, there's nothing is guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed. There's no way to guarantee anything. I don't trust anybody that says they're going to guarantee me anything. That to me is salesy, and that's why I said in the description, smart people see that, and they know, going to guarantee me.
But what you were saying about getting the branding yourself out there, kind of, and getting yourself out there is the way to go.
But what I always want people to remember though is that no other company, even if you're paying them, is going to do it with the passion that you're going to do it. And if you rely on them to be the catalyst of where you end up, you're putting a lot of faith in somebody else that as soon as you stop paying, the lights go out. And then you're building this huge following that can be shut off. So it basically becomes like an extortion tool. They have you forever now because the day you cancel, yeah, I mean, listen, there's a million different ways to do it, and everybody's network is a little bit different, and they all have to be, attracted in different ways. My clientele is they're all different, and you have to be smart enough to know that it's not one size fits all. You have to really put yourself into their shoes. I want to sell a lot of real estate, so this is what I want. No, you have to think of it. It's not what I want. What do they want that's going to be interesting to them? And even in the descriptions on all of the listings that I have on my Instagram, every listing I have, you have to find the selling point. Don't just put beautiful oceanfront property. We live in Miami. There's 5 million beautiful oceanfront properties. It's the cheapest. Is it the highest floor? Is it the lowest floor? Is it the lowest HOA? Whatever it is, there's a few little things that make it intriguing. And if you don't paint that picture, we get so much real estate stuff. Now, if you tell me direct oceanfront condo, HOA only $400 a month, I'm like, oh shit, that's good. Like, what's the hook? And the hook is not the price. The hook is not the price unless it's the lowest price or it's the largest 3-bedroom, the largest 2-bedroom. You have to find those hooks because people look at the picture and they like it and they move on. When you give them a reason of this is why it's a good deal, is where you now are engaging and you may attract real buyers. Pretty pictures are just going to get the like and the swipe. The hook is why is it a good deal without overselling it, Thank you. Oh, thank you. Pleasure.
Thank you.
Dominic.
Enjoyed it very much.
Let me have one of your cards. Memo, my sidekick.
I'm a big fan.
Pleasure. Let's keep in touch. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Cool. For sure.
Actually, I specialize in business brokerage. But I came through a long time ago. I was brought down by Century 21. I used to do what you're doing.
Cool.
I did all their post-license training.
Nice.
Whatever. They brought me down from the north.
Cool.
That was years ago. I enjoyed the presentation.
Thank you very much. It's a great. It's almost 5 years. I'm very picky. Like I said, if it doesn't work, I would have been the first one gone. What Bobby set up with the back end, the ease of how you get paid, how you submit your deals, it makes it so much easier to have more time to focus on growing your business instead of depositing the check with the office manager, waiting for this. It's fantastic. It really is a great setup. So, excellent. Pleasure meeting you.
Anyway, it was nice meeting you.
Pleasure.
If you ever run into anybody who wants to buy or sell business,
That's right. I'm going to give you a holler.
good. How are you?
My pleasure. Thank you so much. What's your name?
Luis.
Luis. Cool. Follow me on Instagram. I'll follow you back so we can keep in touch. Awesome. Was it helpful? You feel the energy? It's important, man. It takes time. And it starts with the decision to want to do it. But no one's gonna do this for. It has to come from you.
Very good.
Thank you. No, and I mean, I want everyone to understand that to get there is a journey, and you have to walk the path, but it's doable, and it starts day to day, and it starts with the first listing. And 5 years, I've been with. It's almost 5 years now. I've been in real estate now over 10, but 10 years goes by quick. So do the work now, because before you know it, you're going to look back and you're going to have a whole body of work to be able to go back to. Instead of that's the wrong mentality. You got to start today.
You see that, like you said, like it's more leads from machines like the Reiko, stuff like that. They will see it's like a great opportunity.
You have to be able to see it.
I've been missing out because I look and say, oh, this is 7.
It's very easy to say it doesn't pay that money. If you just look at it for the return on the money, it's easy to say, I don't do that, I don't do that, I don't do that. When you look at the return of how do I be the guy in this building that everybody calls? I got to take the rentals. I got to do other stuff. It's not, I don't just go there. So, cool, man.
I want to get better presentation.
Cool.
I appreciate that.
Please reach out, follow me on Instagram. Any questions? I'm always happy to help, man. Oh, thank you. I hope you got some, because it's a mindset. It's hard every day. We get beat down so much, and deals don't happen. We get worried about it.
And then we're just like thinking about making the money, but we don't think about.
I know. And the only way to be successful long term is to put in the work for what we showed today.
I know. And pictures, let me tell you, they're all, like, they need to be there. Like, pictures are very important. Even though I have a lot of clients that when I take them to the house, they go like, "This is not exactly."
I know, but huh? I gotta send them the new version of it because I tweaked it out last night. Yeah, for sure.
And then the video.
Here, use this. How do we? Because the floors are so glossy. Oh, thank you, Bruce.
That was awesome.
It's a mindset, and you know what? If you get out of it thinking like I only made this much this year, no, it's a long-term game. Like elevating yourself. Success is not a dollar amount. It's a feeling. It's a place, that you get to, because at some point. This year you make, 50, then 100. At some point, 10 million is the same as 100. It doesn't matter. It's how you feel. No, but it's how you feel about what you do that keeps you doing it.
And what was really, really cool, I thought, was that a lot of it was, once you hear it, it's like.
All I was is it's everything everybody does. I didn't mention anything that we don't already have done or have done once or twice or whatever. It's understanding why we do it and how to make it work better for us to grow our brand. And when you get away from trying to sell the listing, focusing all your energy on selling the listing, which only gives you one check, by leveraging and growing my business. By making the marketing better, I accomplish many missions. I still get it sold quicker, higher price, and I'm growing in all these other areas versus focusing on, it hasn't sold yet. It's been 60 days, and I've had listings that I lose the listing that I still market. Give it to somebody else. I'm my content now. My content belongs to me. And once you take the listing away, my pictures come down. My pictures are mine. So if a seller thinks they're gonna fire me and go with somebody else, and they're gonna no, they're not. These are my pictures, and I get to use them as much as I want.
I love the whole thing about how this is a page. It's like a resume.
It's the only tangible that I had worked on this for a long time, and it was in my head, and I was like, I can't freaking articulate. That's like the real hook. And then last night I saw the book, and I'll go, first I said it was your resume, then I said it was like your credit score, and I'm like no, it's not that. I go, it's like your biography, because I'm like credit score and resume but I'm like your biography. This is your name, this is your legacy. So do you want it to be impressive, or do you want it to be about collecting a paycheck?
If more people would and thought into what they're putting on the MLS and everything else.
That's what I said. Our buyers would be happier. The sellers the whole market would be better off because there'd be less garbage out there.
One of my biggest pet peeves, and it's foolish, it shouldn't annoy me, but I guess it's because I see it so much in the MLS, it's constant, is walking closets.
Yeah, walking. Oh, I didn't put on there either, but yeah, I took it out, but I was like, proofread twice and then proofread it again.
Yeah, and listen, if English is your second language, have somebody else read it for you.
Well, but here's my point with that though. So, okay, the bar's already set low. So I don't care about them changing it. All I know is that when I do my little tweaks, I'm already, so I don't even see, I don't need to correct anybody else. I just know from a position point of where I can fit in, I can elevate myself. I'm already up here. So don't even worry about them. Worry about you and say, oh, I'm competing against Mr. Walk-in Closet. And because remember, walk-in closet, if it's priced low enough, may sell faster than your really done up, beautifully well-written listing. So, and if they're doing it just for the paycheck, they're like, ha, you laugh at me, I laugh at you. You know what I mean? Like, I got the money. But if you're not in it for that, and if you're in it where people are going to come to you and respect you, and like I said, even with the ugly houses, which I didn't want to get too much into it, but if it's that ugly, I don't want it. If it can't help me grow my brand, I don't need, I have enough business. I'm not wealthy. I'm not freaking, I still worry, you know, some months I'm good, some months I'm down, but I don't want a problem. If the owner doesn't care about it, I'm not that realtor, because I care about what my buyers are buying, even if it's on the other side of the chair. I care about my name and my branding, so let that guy go with the buyer that doesn't care, that's happy posting pieces of shit properties. That's not me.
Because sometimes too, I know if I'm researching places, I'm going to ask for a customer, and I know what they're looking for. If it's all pictures of parks and the pool,
you know it's a bullshit listing. You know it sucks. You don't even send it.
Yeah.
That's why I was saying it's like you got it. So, and like I said, it's the level up. So maybe there are some people that want to, and if you need the money and you got to do it in the meanwhile for the paycheck, that's fine. Still try to level up where you can, but more often than not, because I've been through it, where you say, well, if this sell, this $600,000 piece of shit, like if it sells, it'll be $18,000 in commission.
I'm Memo.
Yes, I was going to come see you.
Okay. Good to finally meet you. Yes.
Have you seen these that I made too? I haven't given any of these up, but you can do these branded ones from Starbucks. What is it? Has your little branding on the
That's
inside.
awesome, because I did something similar. I was buying them.
And then putting your own sleeves on
I
them?
did my clients, right?
No.
I've been doing this for almost 9 years. I buy a giant, everybody that has this.
Oh, I remember, the beach bag, with the beach towels.
Giant beach bag, I take 2 towels.
Oh, thank you. What's your name?
Patty.
Oh, Patty, okay, cool. Cool.
And that's what I give all my
I don't know. I mean, there's a possibility. But I definitely, oh, cool.
Then when I do it, I put it next.
Cool, me too. I'm in Bay Harbor, so.
I put that in everything.
Oh, cool. Yeah, this office is great though. And the location is good. And like I said, how long have you been with London Foster for?
You're broke today.
I was with Bobby maybe
And
like
you gotta replace the
2 years
furnace, you
ago.
go buy a
Memo,
white Westing
that's
house,
what he said. That's why he came to
$17
me and
furnace.
was like, he left.
And I gave you a $250. You know what I'm saying? So,
It's
and
great.
the thing is, when you walk into the house, every single person that walks into the brand new house, damn, Bruce, nice service now. You must be doing right.
That's what's up.
Yeah. And one was in time.
Okay.
Sell in that area that you need to market it. Bye, Memo.
I swear to God, I was gonna wear that shirt today.
Look, since you were such a good guest today, you can do these too. This is a Starbucks scoop cup, but you can order it with your branding and the stuff on the inside, which is cool. So you can have that. For being one of my front row. Yeah, please do. Like I said, follow me on it. Like everybody here, if you this way, follow on Instagram. Everybody can email me, but follow me on Instagram too. And it's easier to then put the faces to everything and then know.
Okay, thank you.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Patricia.
Hi, Patricia.
Okay, so how do you get this book? Did you do it online with this blurb?
I think this was Shutterstock, but I had to do all the layout though. You have to put in the work. It's your bit. Yeah. So I think this was Shutterstock.
Okay, good.
And I think I did too. I think. Let me just see something here. Hold on, let me. If you noticed in here, I didn't put, here, Bruce, come here real quick. If you notice in here, I didn't put anything that said, I didn't mention the neighborhood. I didn't mention.
You don't say this, you don't need copyright for these pictures, right?
No, these are mine.
Yeah, but the problem is that, I mean, you don't need permission from the clients to, because you don't sell this book except for your.
Right, I don't sell it, correct, it's just for me. But I don't put anything in here, and I thought about it, of putting the area, and I'm like, you know what, it's, let them, if you, you know, whatever it is, because all they need to see, it's really the pictures selling itself, but I didn't put anything in here like, sold, highest price sold, or this one we got a highest price in Coconut Grove, and I'm like, you know what? The pictures are more powerful than any of the words that you're gonna do. Because if you tell somebody the highest price sold, and they say, well, how much was it? And you say $8.99, they're like, my place is 1.5, like that, like it subjectively gives them a way to either knock it down or judge or grade, versus good pictures is good pictures. This is Sunny Isles, that's, this building is, what's it called? That's Pinnacle, but I wanted to show enough too of condo, home, townhouse. That was the lobby.
Daniel took these shots?
No,
It's like,
Daniel took the shot on the front. This was, I like, I don't know if we're nuts, I use photography. They've never let me down, and I'm the first to. If they ever let me down, I'll go with somebody else, but it's been like I use, and it's like, for 12 pictures, it's $150. If you want 18, I think it's 200, and then there's like a 10% off code.
These are awesome.
But you still gotta show up and do the work. And I'm the type too, about like leveling up. Yeah, that was before, and they used to watermark it, which used to annoy me. They stopped doing that now. I know, it's retarded. But look, like for instance, I noticed the thing with leveling up is you gotta always then, sometimes you got to accept things for what you, nothing is ever always going to be perfect, but if you can, which one was it? Oh, this one I noticed the tractor, they were expanding the beach there. No one really notices it, but I noticed it now.
I did.
You know?
But the photographer could have.
I mean, you could, but remember, this picture normally is not meant to be seen this zoomed in. I bring all this staging stuff in a place where it's washed out. I always like to bring something green to pop in. I come with a basket of candles. Look, this is
the company, right?
Yeah. Which one was it? That was one of my candles. You can't really see it there, but this table looks super empty. Candle doesn't really do that much, but it gives a little shadow. Here, because the book bends, you don't notice it, but otherwise it's too much table, then you see too much little things. And I mean, your eye gets better. The more you try, the more.
But I'm surprised with the quality.
Yeah.
Of the book.
I know.
I tried some.
I know. Oh, you know what I did too, which is also a good idea that I didn't mention. I just closed the sale, and my sellers lived in Canada, and they had owned it for like 30 years in their family, so it was kind of emotional because the parents owned it, and the parents died, and then it passed to the kids. I made a book with all the pictures, but I did it at fucking Walgreens, and it was kind of, but at the same time, I worked so hard for that listing too, that there was no extra money left over. I really freaking went here, so I didn't want to spend like $50 on that. So, but they really appreciated that. The little photo book, that doesn't have to, because that's a little token once it's done, but when you're
Short stop or short flat?
Yeah, because I think I had to pay money for them to take their stupid logo off it. Extortion.
Yes, no, it doesn't. I know that.
Find me on Instagram, and I'll look. I'm sure I have it online, and I'll let you know which one it is.
Yeah, that's how much it's a great.
But guess what? If you don't have content, you don't have good stuff for a book.
Yeah.
So that's why every little thing.
That's awesome.
And remember, this was a rental. This wasn't, it's a beautiful apartment. It's a 2-story penthouse, but it was a rental. And this lady here who owns this one, I sold her this, okay? No, I sold her son a place here in Aventura. Then I sold this for her. So her son bought a place. She loved me so much that she listed this with me. I sold this. I helped her buy an apartment in Oceania for like $850,000. I sold, her son then moved back to Texas, so I sold the place that I sold him that he bought. And now she says that her place in Oceana, she wants to move back to be with her kids in Texas. She's like, you're the one doing the listing. She's like, we'll be ready in December. So with those, so it was 550 the first time, 550 the second time, so $1,000,001, then 750, 899, and then it'll be another like 850 again. So it'll be like 3.5 something from one family. So cool. Awesome. What's up, honey? Thank you. Thank you. Was it good or no?
Yeah.
Good. I told you it was gonna be good. I've been working on this for a while, so. How you been?
Your job works for the house. Yeah, I spoke to Mauricio and he's working on my way.
Oh, nice. Did he give you a good price or no?
See,
Good.
no, I'm happy and he's working on it. He gave me photos. I'm gonna take a new professional, like more professional picture, like headshot. And I'm working on it, giving my cars like crazy to everybody. Like I think it's a possibility for the future. I'm just putting.
Yeah, you have to start today. Like everything's like, oh, I want to be there. You can't. Nobody be anywhere. No, you have to get there. No one's going to pick you up and put you there. You have to. And sometimes you and then you. But
I follow you. I see everything you do, and whatever you need,
Thank you.
Amazing.
Good. I'm glad everybody liked.
In 2011, on the Venetian Causeway, a friend of mine worked in the building there with one of the interior design companies.
Nice.
She'd seen a postcard in the mailroom for sale by owners. It was on the 4th floor. And so she texted me. So I called him and I told him I had a buyer for that preview and I wanted to meet him. He was in Chicago. So he arranged for the building manager.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, I wanted to meet him, but I went and I looked at it. It was an estate sale. My grandmother had died. Half of the flooring was
Destroyed, yeah.
So it needed new flooring, and that was obvious. The kitchen was like a 1960s appliances and the wall and everything else. And I looked up the old listing, and he had it written up in pictures.
Beautiful oceanfront view.
So
Ready to move in.
when I called him, I talked to him and I said, listen, I said, I know you're selling it by yourself. I said, I'm not putting any pressure on you. My buyer decided that he wants to be over and
My buyer decided he didn't want to have to do a full-scale renovation of $300,000,
Well, what I told him on the phone, I said, listen, I said, I looked up the old listing with, she had it listed with another realtor before you went to do it yourself. I said, just a little word of advice. I said, you're losing everybody that walks in the door.
it's being positioned incorrectly.
Yeah, he had it portrayed as move in,
Ready?
it's great. So as soon as I open the door and see it needs flooring and everything.
Once you lose that credibility there, nobody's fucking buying from you. And like I said, it's funny when I talk about like establishing credibility, not just for myself, for the buyer's agent, for the agent, because when you know you're working with an agent that knows the shit, you're much more likely to be frank and be like, what do we got to do to get this deal done? Now we're not playing poker and wasting time and counter this, counter that. But when buyers come in and they sense your vibe and they know that you're real and that you're not, I see it especially on like the higher end stuff too, where people come in and they're like, look at the magnificent kitchen. And it's like, just let the fucking buyer decide if it's, listen to what they say. And if they like it, say, oh, you like this? Yeah, this countertop was imported from, blah, blah. Or don't go in there like when you stop talking and start listening is where you can pick up on the cues to actually be effective in selling instead of what people think of selling. Like, I'm going to give you the tour. Let them fucking go where they want to go. Let them go to what they like first. Let them avoid. You can see what people don't like. So it's too much. Everybody thinks I'm a realtor. I show properties. I have to show you the kitchen. I have to do this stupid arm movement. I have to tell you that you're in the kitchen when you're standing in the kitchen and you see it's the kitchen and you're like, now we're in the kitchen.
If it's a
We
couple,
get it.
let them go, just
Yeah.
so they can talk amongst themselves.
And not only that, but don't even assume either that this is better or worse or anything. Make zero assumptions. You say, ask, if anything, what do you think? Or you say, how do you like the view? Instead of saying, isn't the view beautiful? You say, what do you think about the view? Oh my God, it's beautiful. I agree. Yeah, it's one of the, this building and this line is the best line in it. Like, ask the loaded question to then get the answer, to then get the response to build that trust. But too many people, once it comes from them, like you said, it's a whole, then the openness comes out, you get much more honest feedback, and they'll tell you, we love it, but it's just too small. I at least want to know what the truth is, not like, well, they came, they saw, and I had no idea how they felt. You know, but people won't be honest with you if they feel that you're trying to sell them. They're just like, all right.
Well, this guy calls me back, Larry Camper, and then his sister was Ruth Camper. I never met either one of them. I never saw them. They were up in Chicago. But I just gave him my advice. I said, listen, show it as it is, because then you're going to get the right buyers.
Right. Right.
I said, if you have any questions,
Yeah.
paperwork or anything, I said, give them a call. I said, I'm not going to pressure you and try to get the listing from you. And I said, you probably get enough of that. So a month and a half later, he calls me. And he says, if I wanted to
Work with you. How does it work?
would you
Yeah.
be interested in
Yeah.
listing this? And I was
That's
like,
what I'm saying. When you come from the right angle, and even for me with the bad list, like if it's a seller that wants me to do all this work, but I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
There are some people that are either new enough or desperate enough that will let you bully them around for an unguaranteed commission. I realize that my commission is not guaranteed. So everything, I almost think of myself as almost like a music producer, you know. Not all of my artists are going to be hit. I can't sign everybody to my label. I only have enough slots for A&R to put out. So the ones I put out, I have to at least feel like I think they can work for me.
I like that you said 6, 3, and 3, because we kill ourselves. You know, the more people that take 1 to 5 or 4.
Look, you know what I did? My listing in Pembroke Pines, I did it for 5. Okay. He was my best friend since I was 3. He didn't even ask me. He wasn't going to ask. And I said, I'll do it for 5. No, and on that one, I did split it. I did 2.5, 2.5. I had another listing that I had, and I said, look, I go, if you want a discount, I go, you see the work that I do. My side is 3%. If you want to take anything out, you can take half a point from buyer side. I go, and normally I don't recommend that, but in this case where I'm doing website, video, professional marketing, everything that you get here, I go, I have no room to discount on my side. And I go, and any money you take away from me is taking away from marketing the product. You're taking money out of your pocket and giving it away by trying to save it on the back end. I go, so for me, right. So I'm like, so for me, minus 3%. And I've learned it took a little while to be able to have that confidence, but I had too many times where I let sellers talk me into taking less, and then they don't fucking sell, and then you're just pissed, and you're like, I can't believe I did. I feel like such a fool, and I'm willing to do things and try things, but I'm like, I'm not you. I don't need you. You don't like. We need to agree to work together. They're like, like I said with the thing, like, I'm gonna give you the listing. I'm giving you an opportunity to have one of the best persons market your property. So if anyone's I'm giving you a chance to give me the listing.
But this is the only industry.
How'd it go? How was it? Awesome?
The only industry where that happens.
No guaranteed. I know.
Denny's and say, well, you know what, I want the moons over my head.
Even contractors get paid 50% up front.
Pay $7.99.
I know. Yeah. Here's $4. It wasn't that good. Mm-hmm.
So the people, and granted, yes, there are times where a legitimate reason.
For sure, and I'm open to that. But I'll always say, at least I'm starting here. If I agree, I have those tough conversations on the front end, and I almost feel that it builds the credibility even stronger. That they know, like, I'm a businessman. You know, I'm not here to. You're not doing me a favor. This is work. You're giving me work that I'm not guaranteed to get paid for, unless a lot of things have to happen.
Exactly.
So.
And there's a lot of people out there that will get it.
Yeah, exactly. Go with somebody else. And it makes sense. I'm not saying it won't sell. I said, whatever works for you, go for it. This doesn't work for me. I just passed on 2 listings just recently. And then now, since I didn't take it, she's like blowing up my phone. I'm like, it's not a good fit. Like how we started is not going to work. She didn't, it was like a duplex. She didn't show me the other side. Like you're hiding things from me, meaning that it's more work. If you're not upfront with me, then I don't need the business. I would rather keep my options open for the right things to come than be too tied up with too many wrong things that I'm missing good things because I'm too busy.
And that's the other thing.
That's what happens,
People don't see that.
for sure.
It's put too much in here and then all of a sudden.
You missed this one because you were tired. You didn't realize that you didn't want to do it. So, cool.
Awesome stuff.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you. What's up, bro? How are you? Looking good, man. Looking good. How you doing? Always looking good. Good. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Man, I just felt I wanted to do something for the launch of the office, but stuff that was good, not just the same old thing, like something that was powerful that could be useful. So, what do you think? It was good?
Very
You
good.
like? Cool.
Yes.
How you been? All good?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Working a lot.
Yeah?
Yes.
I know, same here.
You are more listing agent and I'm by yourself.
No, listen.
We have to work more.
No, I mean, listen, I'm wherever I gotta be, but I just, you know how it goes. It's tough with the buyers right now, though. I had a deal that just got rejected last night. It was mine competing with up at Marina Palms. And they're like, we're going with the other offer. But that's why I said, but for me, that's why I think it's important with this is that there's a lot of, we can't judge our career just on money in the bank, because elevating and growing your career isn't just on a transaction. It's not with the money. The money gets spent. You make enough money and you spend it, there's nothing to show for it. It's what you do with it along the way that in terms of like building the brand that you actually at least have something to look back and say, at least I have something. It's like going on vacation and coming home with no souvenir, no memory. What's the point of going? So, but yeah, it's been a lot of work.
Yeah, a lot of work.
No, and this market too, people are like, oh, the Miami market's on fire. That's good. I'm like, it's busy, but it's created a lot of other chaos along with it. It's gotten harder, in my opinion. More people buying, but the sellers think that it's very confusing. No, it's.
Not continue to the operation.
I know, no.
So, you know, many people by agents. Okay, wait. Maybe in the last.
If you can wait, the problem too is that rents are also going up. So rents are super high and buying is high. Before you could say, I'll rent because it's cheaper, but now so now you're like, fuck, I'm paying more in rent and it costs me more to buy. The only upside buying right now is just because the interest rates are still low. You can buy, you can buy more on the 30-year and pay a little bit less, but if the interest rate goes up,
Yes.
I don't know, but no, it's never easy, man. That's why I always try to stay creative with the process because I can't control who's going to buy, when it's going to sell, when it's going to close, but I can control more of the passion and the art form and the vision that I have. And to me, that's more rewarding anyways, because the money, if I had an extra 50,000 in the bank, I still live in my same place. It's like nothing really changes, But how I feel and when I feel proud or productive is much more of how you got to be, because this is a long-term
You have
game.
to be creative, to every day, compete with everybody.
And most importantly too, though, compete with yourself. Like make sure, see your level, make your level better. Sometimes too, we got to be careful because we see everybody else. I see it all the time. 5 million just sold, 10 million just sold. And I'm like, fuck, I do it way better. Why am I? And I'm like, I don't care. Where am I at? My level. Every step, every day, go up.
But 2020 was a good year for you.
The what?
2020.
No, 2020 was horrible.
Really?
Yeah. I had a bunch of big deals that were going to close that got fucked up and never came back. And then I started closing some towards the end of 2020. This year's been a little bit better, but I'm from Miami. I don't have New York clients. I don't have the easy slam dunk. I don't have that. Most of those buyers are coming through a friend or a friend of a friend. Yeah, and don't get it twisted either. A lot of these deals happening where you see they're paying 30% referral to an agent in Compass coming from New York. So you see, 2 million closed and you're thinking, shit, 60 grand. Lower. Try, maybe they're taking home.
You never try a lead generation system? Never.
Now it's fucking super saturated. The whole lead gen thing. Everybody's trying. No, the buyers don't trust it anymore. It's too much. Too many other companies, technology companies that aren't real estate related, have come in because they know how valuable it can be, and it's not really valuable to the buyers. It's valuable selling back to realtors because realtors are fucking. A lot of them are dumb, and we know how hard that we work, and we're looking for some quick switch to take that step up. We're the biggest suckers of that whole industry. It's not the buyers. It's us. Because we're looking to get that edge and we're like, I can invest $500 a month. Let's see what happens. You're not doing it yourself. If you're doing all that and you're not doing any of this, as soon as you switch the switch off, you're back to square one. It's not sustainable. It's not a good, if you do it in tandem, in conjunction, okay, fine. But you have to be doing all of this stuff and everything else. And if you want to allocate, kind of almost like cryptocurrency, have all your other investments. You want to put a little bit and see what happens, fine. But I treat those lead gen sites like I would treat cryptocurrency.
I try, because for me it was good until.
Now it's too expensive. Now the prices are too high.
Yes, too many options, too expensive, but not really effective.
Not target, and then you waste your time with unqualified leads. My time is valuable. If I'm dealing with someone who's not serious, I don't fucking want it. I have buyers and sellers that know me that I'm like, no, go with somebody else. Like I'm not the right guy for you. I don't want to waste my time. I know you're not I know your finances. I'm not here to throw the Hail Mary. I want to, So, but it's always, it's a grind. And that's why I said, every day I go for the 2-for-1. I try to find a little beauty in each thing of where I can make changes and make it look better. And then when you're sitting in front of those sellers and when you can show them, I had a guy who called me the other day who I went in a building that I sell a lot in Aventura. And he told me today, he's like, send me the listing agreement. I met him in person. I went through everything. And he's like, let's do it. There's nothing to talk about.
When you did the book?
I did that like a year ago. I hardly ever use it. I had it on my coffee table. I brought it to a couple listing presentations, and now
But it works.
I think so. But remember too, like I said, so it's all about the level up. So now I have other things that you guys haven't seen that are, so this was 2020. 2021's different level. So, but you have to keep pushing it up and up and up. It's never good enough to just say, all right, I got that, I'm good. What else can I do? Did I get a big enough effect from that? Can I do like?
No, but it's very good presentation.
Yeah.
In all my years, I never have seen something like that. Sometimes a brochure,
Yeah, no, and it doesn't even say what I love about it. It doesn't even say anything that's. It just says pretty pictures, good presentation. I like this guy. I'm done. There's nothing to say. Oh, how much was it? I didn't put any of the prices. I didn't even put the bill. Like no. That's why I said you let
the. That's it.
That's the most powerful thing. Now I can say, we ready to go? What else is there to talk about? This is what I do. I just showed you in your hand. And remember what I said in everybody says, I'm a great marketer. I'm like, show me your marketing. And they're like, show me. Give me something that shows me you're a good marketer. You can't? Then don't say that you are, because if they call you on it, you've missed that. You're better off not even mentioning that you're great at marketing, because if they call you on it and you can't show it, you're done.
Many people say that because, I post some in Instagram.
Oh, no, and they say, and they say, it's going to be marketed on 3,000 websites in 12 languages, and it's like, motherfucker, that's what happens when any listing goes live in the MLS. Yeah, like, no, dude, that's basic. That's not,
Yeah.
you know? So yeah, man, it's really, like I said, it's a mindset of why we do what we do. You know, it's not an ends to a mean. It's not. I'm not taking this listing to get the commission. The commission allows us to be employed and be in business to continue doing creative things. The money gets spent. Like that's what money's for. It's meant to pay bills, do things so we can enjoy life. It's not meant to just accumulate. It's what we do with how we can influence, how we can make things better, how, you know, you can go into someone's life and change them. You know, when I send the stuff to my sellers and they're like, damn. I always love it because a lot of my sellers tell me, they're like, I don't even want to sell it now, like jokingly. Like, you make my house look so good, I don't even want to sell it. I'm like, that's the reaction that I try to go for every time. And I don't send them the same way that I say don't go live in the MLS until it's ready. I don't send my clients the pictures until the website is ready. I don't say, oh, look at these first few pictures, what do you think? Nope. It's the fucking premiere, boom, when you see it all. Because that's the most powerful thing. Seeing a few things, you sort of spoil the surprise a little bit. Wait for everything to be done. And then sometimes too, they'll start saying, oh, I don't really like that picture. Oh, and you're like, no, you're not allowed to change. The vision is mine. It's almost like I'm the director. I'm Martin Scorsese. You're Paramount Pictures. You're giving me the budget. Whether this picture flops or not, it's my vision. You're the production company. That's the seller. My vision. You're trusting me because you know I make hits. So, but again, you don't even get this type of content if you don't invest in the content. And too many people want to advertise other people's listings. They want to advertise other people's pretty stuff. Get your own pretty stuff. Start somewhere. Learn how to make properties pretty. Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. Cool. Awesome. Was it good or no? I wanted to do something that was you not just like teaching like how to do post this many times. No. It's a mindset of really getting better, and there's a lot of components. It's not just like advertise, change your budget on Facebook, and no. It's if you don't do everything, you're still kind of down here. So cool. Keep always in every business deal you do. How can I make this also work again and again? So, bye. Thank you.
Okay,
Cool.
nice to see you.
I'm
And
glad.
congratulations.
Yeah. No. Thank you. Thank you.
That was well, huh? That was well for you, huh?
Huh?
Well,
Yeah. I didn't even see time how much we went over, but
I wasn't paying attention.
I don't even. But that's when you know it's good. When you,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, people show up and then called ahead, so that was good.
how many? What was?
19 people on Zoom.
That's perfect.
I finally get to meet Mr. Williams in the flesh. But here's the funny thing, right? Okay, you guys process word usually, still kind of true, right? When I first joined the team, I was like, why does this guy look so familiar? I processed one of his loans back in 2017. I'm like,
Who? One of mine?
one of yours.
Who was it?